2023, when Buriram United first came into the FFWS Global Finals with the roster of 2022's world champions, captained by two-time world champion Jonah, taking new recruit Wasana, the all-star lineup crumbled, losing to Brazilian rivals Magic Squad. Even though they finished second, many people still doubted them, especially Wasana. After a year, they returned to the FFWS with the same goal in mind. Unfortunately, their plans went sideways as Buriram finished third instead. This year, they return with the same goal: prove the doubters wrong. But they started the tournament poorly.
ก็ผมก็ทำเต็มที่ครับความพยายามไม่เคยทำร้ายใครอยู่แล้วผมพยายามมา2 ปีครับที่พยายามมามันไม่เคยเสียหายครับมันทำให้ทีมตัวเองได้เก่งยิ่งขึ้นครับแล้วที่วิจารณ์กันมาว่าฟอร์มดรอปก็ตอนนั้นก็ดรอปจริงๆครับแต่ตอนนี้ก็พยายามแก้ไขในสิ่งที่พลาดในตอนนั้นจนถึงมาสำเร็จทุกวันนี้ครับ
รู้สึกว่าอยากได้มากครับเพราะว่าโดนพี่เกียรติล้อคีนอนชอบล้อผมไม่มีแชมป์โลกพี่ได้ MVP ไม่มีแชมป์โลกเขาชอบล้อกันนะคนทีมชอบล้อผมนะแต่ผมเกียรติคนเดียวนะคีนอนคนเดียวเลยชอบล้อไปถล่มเขาย้ำๆนะคนดูเพราะว่าชอบพูดมาแบบตอนว่าเฮ้ยใครไม่ได้แชมป์โลกวะไม่คุยกับคนไม่ได้แชมป์โลกวะ
Reset. Adapt. Burn bright.
ก่อนจะเข้ามาแข่งรอบเกมไฟนอลก็คิดไว้ครับว่าพวกผมเอาแชมป์ให้วัฒนาเพราะว่าน้องยังไม่เคยได้แชมป์โลกแล้วทุกคนทำเพื่อวัฒนาแล้วก็มั่นใจกันมากครับผม
This year, they finally did it. Joanna's dedication for Buriram finally paid off, as he made history as the first ever 3-time FFWS Global Finals champion, as the captain led his young teammate Wasana to his first ever world championship.
ก็รู้สึกดีใจที่ได้เห็นน้องถูกถ้วยแล้วแต่ว่าเราก็ดีในเรื่องเราก็ดีใจเหมือนกันเพราะเราก็ตามหาถ้วยนี้มานานมาก
ก็มาแทนตอนนั้นเนี่ยเหมือนมาแทนพี่ไอ้นะครับแล้วเขาก็เมนกันว่ามาแทนเดี๋ยวคูดจะไหวหรออะไรก็ผมทำไม่เห็นแล้วนะครับ
Once the youngest in EXP, now the backbone of AG, he's walked this path before. In 2023, he seized the tournament MVP, carving his name in fire against giants like Butchin, Q, and Bops.
รู้สึกดีใจอยู่ครับแต่ว่าเสียใจที่ว่าไม่ได้แชมป์ด้วยครับ
AG's due as their leader, their carry, their heartbeat. Within 2 years of relentless improvements, he came back stronger. He lead his squad to crush doubt and dominate the Clash squad.
Oh, dude! You can do it, son! This is it! A 12-57 drags them across the finish line with an ace on Mach 3!
From being the 2023 MVP, he has walked the talk, and now he proves the doubters wrong all over again, earning the first ever MVP and carving his name into history as a champion of the first Jakarta for the Free Fire World Series Global Finals 2025. The biggest Free Fire event in Free Fire Esports of the year. The knockout stage began, and 6 days decided everything. The best teams crushed doubts,
First blood.
while 6 teams were crushed by pressure and eliminated early instead.
Triple kill. Double kill.
Fans from every corner of Indonesia traveled to witness an epic finale to the team's journey in Jakarta's Indonesia Arena, the nation's largest esports venue. 100,000s of fans, lights, music, fire, energy, all building up toward the biggest show Free Fire has ever put on.
Double kill.
What an epic end to the FFWS Global Finals 2025. Congratulations to our world champions, Bermuda United Esports. A Guinness World Record-breaking esports event attended by over 600,000 participants.
Welcome to
All access.
This is the Pros Masterclass. Nero, a deep dive into his strengths, abilities, and why he's shaping the way pros play right now. Next, let's break down some high-level pro plays from FFWS 2025. RQKazoo took the launch pad and a free target for P-Sports as they soared through the sky. RQAbey got knocked the moment he landed. From far, Nero's skill to stop RRQKazoo from instant blue walling and get a resurrection on RRQAbey. Nero's skill also disables Joseph ability, allowing detection skills like Moko's to become more effective. RQKazoo had to spend more time breaking Nero's plushie before they could safely resurrect. The damage from Nero's plushie continues to tick down their HP. T-Sports uses this window to close in on RRQKazoo. With RQKazoo's HP not full, P-Sports comes in for the cleanup. Meta shifts, tactical zoning, and anti-glue control, Nero brings a whole new layer of strategy to every fight. At this moment, PE Sports uses Nero's skill first to break through the enemy's defense, powered by Joseph, then activates A124 skill to disable the opponent's active abilities. However, Joseph can counter a 124's effect and protect himself from it. That's a wrap on our Nero breakdown. The plushie, the pressure, and the plays that define this meta. Is Nero your must-pick, or just overhyped?
12 teams reset back to 0 points in the champion rush. The grand finals bring pressure like nothing else, with unpredictable results, split-second decisions, pressure, and stage fright. This is where confidence decides everything.
ทุกชั่วโมงทุกอย่างที่เราซ้อมกันมาถึงวันนี้ทุกอย่างที่เราเสียสละการเปลี่ยนแปลงที่เราปรับและชูเรามาถึงจุดนี้ได้เนาะ
Só ganha essa p*** quem dá orgulho, mano. Então não vamos deixar ninguém ganhar e ninguém tirar esse ganho de nós. Hari ini terakhir. Ya, waktunya keluarin semua, main all out dari game 1. Ya, main all out dari game 1 tanpa beban, tanpa pressure, enjoy se-enjoy-enjoynya. Sedikit waktu, maksimalin. Percaya sama teman, itu yang paling penting. Toko, Mas, vale a pena na vida de vocês, mano. A gente não sabe que a gente terá outras oportunidades igual essa. Fechou? Então vamos pra cima. Alguém quiser falar, o momento é de vocês. Dut, bilang sama gua, match 4 kita sampai di champion draft match kelima kita tutup. Walaupun emang harus gagal di match kelima, match 6 kita tutup. So menurut gua gak ada yang gak mungkin. Walaupun emang harus gagal sekali, masih ada next match. Paling dari aku itu aja, selalu diingat, saling percaya, itu kuncinya guys. Oke? Kita mulai, mari kita berdoa guys. Bora o máximo em geral. 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, segue o fluxo. Vai, Masih. Gak apa-apa. Ya. Sampai banget, Cok.
Two booyahs from the on-fire Fluxo silenced the Indonesian crowd, leaving behind a big gap with R7, RRQ, and EVOS. They are now in desperate need of a recovery.
Santai guys.
RRQ and EVOS finally recovering. However, Buriram is miles ahead of everyone else. The first to activate the champion rush.
Aku nggak lewat sini, lewat depannya, ayo, gua skill. Len. Tersatu, aku. Sabar.
A desperate play from RRQ stops Buriram,
Masuk postir.
giving Fluxo the chance to activate the champion rush with the Booyah. Champion rush activated. Now two teams begin their race for the final Booyah. It's the end of FFWS Global Finals 2025. We witnessed doubts being crushed and history being made from the eyes of the MVP himself, Wasana. Buriram United Esports are crowned as Best Team of the Year.
Who am I gonna verse now? Burn bright, I don't burn out. Crush styles, look at me now, huh?
I can never go reverse now.
But I'ma spin it back, A jump. Went from nada to the crowd, throwing their hands, bass jump. I'ma I'ma hit the finish line no matter what. They front, first place, you a runner-up, dominant, but the red and the blues going ruthless. 10 out of 10, 11, I don't snooze. I pursue, don't push it, put me in game that I don't lose. I stay cool, depending on my pen and pennants I choose. Ayy, I'ma show you how it. Doubt it, now the loudest. Wu-Tang, I'm a bird, love the competition. Told you only way is up, I don't go reverse. I can't entertain. Will you do the same? Cause I've been ready my whole life. Only see my back, I ain't turning back on them. Wings on me, I'm higher. Cause I've been ready my whole life. Wings on me, I'm higher. Who am I gonna verse now? Who am I gonna verse now? Show me what it's worth now. I pull up in the can't imagine all these people wanna follow, missing in action. Paper planes, I'm a condos, made it from rapping, and I met role models. Thinking I'ma pass all the monogram on my body, the shit shout out to Virgil. Know that I'm gonna beat them like the shit that I put words to. Mama and the internet, two things that I just learned through. Hit it out of the park, so there's nothing to reverse to. I can't entertain. Will you do the same? Cause I've been ready my whole life. Only see my back, I ain't turning back on them. Wings on me, I'm higher. Cause I've been ready my whole life. Wings on me, I'm higher. No, I can go reverse now.
Let's go. Wild and free, got an animal in me. Once you see, you ain't never wanna leave. You think your eyes are fooling you. It's just the way my body moves. I bring the sugar and spice. I got naughty and nice. Get the cinnamon once, promise you want it twice. So come get a taste like dang. Got looks that kill, bang bang. I'm razor sharp, real so hard. Light it up, fireworks in the dark. Watch out, I'ma get ya. Don't leave, I will let ya. I'm razor sharp, really so hard. I light it up, fireworks in the dark. I'm a non-stop drill, I can lose that kill. I'm a little bit bittersweet, but you can pour some sugar on me. I'ma knock you off of your feet. Non-stop drill, I can lose that kill. I'm a little bit bittersweet, but you can pour some sugar on me. I'ma knock you off of your feet. Non-stop drill, I can lose that kill.
Everybody doubted, and everyone said was overrated.
Mungkin player overrated ya Wasana lah. Wasanaครับ
Wasana.
Wasana.
É o Wasana. Atualmente vai sobrar pro Wasana.
He is the only one who has never won any international tournament in his team. His hunger was higher compared to others. Towering in front of him, the same enemy, the two-time world champion. The same challenge for him to overcome again. Whenever Bermuda needed someone to step forward, Wasana was always there first. Every fight he took was a risk, but that's what makes him one of the best rushers in the world.
Oh, Wasana! Nolan notices him as LBT tries to take the trade on the map, but he turns around too late. The mini Uzi making all the difference for Wasana.
Bina out in the open. Wasana looks to finish him off at this point. Bina dropped as well. Ooh! Best rushes out there, the one and only Wasana.
We do have Wasana. Oh, the one shot onto Blade. Wasn't even given a chance to be able to be picked up. And now Wasana pushing through for the team as well.
Fearless and relentless, he created openings where none existed, winning duels no one else could.
Put it up, already have activated the champion rush condition. This has to be the moment. Put it up! Your three-time world champion!
2 attempts, 2 heartbreaks, but he refused to break. When everyone doubted him, he kept his smile, and today he burns brighter than ever. The MVP of the best team in Free Fire World Series 2025 Global Final. Since 2023, when Bermuda United first came into the FFWS Global Finals, with the roster of 2022's world champions, captained by 2-time world champion Jonah, taking new recruit Wasana, the all-star lineup crumbled, losing to Brazilian rivals, Magic Squad. Even though they finished second, many people still doubted them, especially Wasana. After a year, they returned to the FFWS with the same goal in mind. Unfortunately, their plans went sideways as Buriram finished third instead. This year, they return with the same goal: prove the doubters wrong. But they started the tournament poorly.
ก็พวกผมก็ทำเต็มที่ครับความพยายามไม่เคยทำร้ายใครอยู่แล้วพวกผมพยายามมา2 ปีครับที่พยายามมามันไม่เคยเสียหายนะครับมันทำให้ทีมตัวเองได้เก่งยิ่งขึ้นครับแล้วที่วิจารณ์กันมาว่าฟอร์มดรอปก็ตอนนั้นก็ดรอปจริงๆครับแต่ตอนนี้ก็พยายามแก้ไขในสิ่งที่พลาดในตอนนั้นจนถึงมาสำเร็จทุกวันนี้ครับ
รู้สึกว่าอยากได้มากครับเพราะว่าโดนพี่เกียรล้อกีนอนชอบล้อผมไม่มีแชมป์โลกที่ได้ MVP ไม่มีแชมป์โลกเขาชอบล้อกันนะคนจริงชอบล้อผมนะแต่หัวเกียรคนเดียวนะกีนอนคนเดียวเลยชอบล้อไปถล่มเขาย้ำๆนะคนดูแต่ว่าชอบพูดมาแบบตอนว่าเฮ้ยใครไม่ได้แชมป์โลกวะไม่คุยกับคนไม่ได้แชมป์โลกวะ
Reset. Adapt. Burn bright.
Powerhouse Tag Champions. Bermuda United Esports.
ก่อนจะเข้ามาแข่งรอบเกมไฟนอลก็คิดไว้ครับว่าพวกผมมาเอาแชมป์ให้วัฒนาเพราะว่าน้องยังไม่เคยได้แชมป์โลกแล้วทุกคนทำเพื่อวัฒนาแล้วก็มั่นใจกันมากครับผม
This year, they finally did it.
Your three-time world champions.
Joanna's dedication for Buriram finally paid off. as he made history as the first ever three-time FFWS Global Finals champion, as the captain led his young teammate Wasana to his first ever world championship.
ก็รู้สึกดีใจครับที่ได้เห็นน้องถูกถ้วยแล้ว แต่ว่าเราก็ดีในลึกๆเราก็ดีใจเหมือนกันเพราะเราก็ตามหาถ้วยนี้มานานมาก
ก็มาแทนตอนนั้นเนี่ยเหมือนมาแทนพี่ไอ้นะครับแล้วเขาก็เมนกันว่ามาแทนเดี๋ยวคูดจะไหวหรออะไรก็ผมจำไม่เห็นแล้วนะครับ
Once the youngest in EXP, now the backbone of AG, he's walked this path before. In 2023, he seized the tournament MVP, carving his name in fire against giants like Butchin.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. This is the Fire MAX Asia Invitational 2025, and yesterday's Group A and B showdown ended with GOW with a massive day, and 3 Indian teams, GODLIKE, NG Pros, and Nightmare follows. Today, Group A meets Group C, and the final day of BR play-ins. One last chance for the teams to reach the top 10. I am Neptune the Gentleman Garcia, joined by the one and only Azora, and we'll be your casters for the first half of this day.
That's right, Neptune. You've already set the tone so high that at this point of time, it's just the teams that they can do the bidding for it. So far, we have seen such good action. GOW yesterday, the way they was just going ahead and mowing down every and any team who just came in front of them. Now they have the competitors. They have GB right against them. They have AVIDA x KDC. This is going to be a ball. AXC, this is the group that I was waiting for so long, Neptune.
Yeah, exactly. And so far, this rotation proves that the finale is really something to look out for. And well, let's see though on how the teams would be traveling all throughout from the beginning of this competition all throughout the end, because we're going to look at the timeline right now. And from this timeline, we did mention about the BR play-ins that starts from the 5th up until the 7th. That would be 2 days, and then by next week we have 4 days of Battle Royale main event, where 14 would be the grand finals, and then we head into Clash Squad main event for 4 days. The 21st would be the grand finals of that mode.
I just can't wait to see even the CS mode. Imagine we can see so much of action right here in the BR mode. Then CS is going to be even more chaotic when you know the plushies are going to just be bouncing from one corner to the other like a Pokeball. It's going to be a ball to enjoy all of that. And December is where you see all of these, ladies and gentlemen. This is the entire tournament timeline, and we have just started day number 3, and we already know what we are in for.
Definitely. I mean, a lot of teams would be chasing for that coveted Booyah, as well as a lot of points to be able to move up on the leaderboard. But why are they fighting for all those spots? Because we have $35,000 as a total prize pool, and like most of it would be getting to or going to the champions. That's $10,000. Second place, it's half of that, and it goes down drastically. But one good story though is the top, even the 18th place, will be getting a piece of this pie. It's not that much, and that's one reason why the teams really need to move up.
True that. And that's the thing, right? Champions, they deserve, after all of that hard work, the way they have already performed so well, specifically in Battle Royale, $10,000 is a really, really good price for them to go ahead and grab from this overall prize pool. But talking about the CS as well, let's take a look on that as well. As most of the teams, when they head towards that 1v1 confrontation, what will they get from the piece of the pie? We will see that right about now.
Yeah, well, Clash Squad prize pool. Clash Squad, a different mode, has been introduced just for this year, and now it is being chased by a lot of teams. But at this point, for the prize pool, $15,000, 4,000 for champion. So imagine if the Battle Royale champion would be the Clash Squad's champion, they will be taking $14,000, and it's just like, it is just
1,000
something
shy
else that we 1,000 shy out of 15, the actual prize pool for Clash Squad.
Yeah. So yeah, most of the times I'm just wondering, where do they get the fuel from? And this is the place. December, just getting warmed up, cozied in one of your seats, and just showcasing how well you can play in the entire tournament. That's what I call fueling your fire. And this is what this Fire MAX Asia Invitational is all about.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, teams really need to move up leaderboards, and one reason or one way that they can move up is with the placement point. If you get that booyah, you get 12 points. It goes down drastically in a second, and as you go down the list up until 10, it goes by 1 point. 11 and 12 will not be getting any of those placement points. Hopefully they can stack up on elimination, but if in case there will be any tie within the tournament, within the competition, we go with a number of booyahs followed by total elimination. And if that doesn't fix it, we go to the ranking in the final game.
Oh, that's right. 1 point, 1 elimination. Well, elimination game has been looking super strong for the likes of GOW so far.
Oh yeah,
they have hit the tournament highest, which is 41 pointer, and it's either they break their benchmark yet again, or it's just going to be so tough for the others to even go ahead and get even the half of that. It's that tough of a lobby to the Neptune, and I'm super excited for it. And this point system is just going to showcase how grueling the entire ruckus will be for them.
Yeah, definitely. And now we have one unique active skills that has been implemented so that there's no way that a spam of either Tatsuya, Valiant Dash, or other skills in there that would be disadvantageous for the other teams. But this is where tactics really comes into play. The mastermind will have to think on what would be the best active skill they can use per map, per game, so they can take advantage of the scenario, of the situation. But I would love to see how things would be changing away from the meta. We've seen that from the previous games, but only a few managed to pull it off.
Exactly. And looking at the meta as well, right, Neptune? Since 2 days, we have been digging deep. We are witnessing what's happening with the squads, how they're making or breaking. So far, we have seen the teams who have like every single one of them. For example, a sniper, per se, a rusher alongside a bomber, and a support. They've been doing flawlessly well compared to a team who is having just rushers and a support in them. So I believe this is the kind of meta that they've already been established, and this is how all the regions play. If that's the case, might as well get out with the groove. And this is the last day for both the groups. Yesterday it was for Group B, and today it's going to be both for Group A and C.
Yeah, right now this is overall standings, and we keep mentioning on what the goal for a team is to get a top 10 in the BR play-ins, and there's still a lot of teams that will need to do some work. It's just unfortunate for some teams who might be pushed down, relegated away to get into the next phase, because for those in Group B, they will not be playing today, and specifically that is Reflex United as well as Red Cliff. So being an 8 and 9, very close to that threshold of the 10th spot, they might not be able to make it, especially there's a lot of teams like GB Esports who might be able to overtake them in just one game.
But look at this, 6 games and 173. Neptune, What do you see there? You see potential. You see the way GOW functions. Specifically, yesterday's lobby, they just swept floors, got those points in day one itself, and it was a speed run for them. And now, AVIDA x KDC, they are up against some serious problems. So might as well take control in game number 1 itself. And where is GB? Where is GB? I would love to see how well they are going to perform as well. They're sitting at 10th spot, and the others, slowly but surely, they have the opportunity yet again to shine in this day number 3.
Yeah, let's see now the total domination of GOW. 4 maps wherein they grabbed the booyah, and you did mention about a 41-pointer. There's 2 points short in game number 5, but it was carried over in Alpine, so it's good enough. They can bring a lot more in here, but that second game wherein the denial has been done against them by a Reflex United, that's one thing that I guess threw them off a little bit and made them a little bit hungrier, but still managing to get 17 elimination plus 8 on the placement point. That's 25 in total in that game of Bermuda.
You know what lovely part is, Neptune? The lovely part here is that it's an average of 36.5 points.
Oh, yeah.
They have not stooped down lower than 30. And that's like the baseline for them. I do understand what happened in the final game, which is game number 6. They got early eliminations. They could not do much there, just 2 points on the name. But that was enough for them to go ahead and raise that flag of Vietnam.
Yeah. Well, so far, we are seeing 4 on the board right now. But to be honest, it's top 3. If the goal, they got 5 out of 6. So let's see if that's something that they can do once again, because we were talking before the broadcast starts that this group of A and C is quite different. I don't think GOW will have that easy way in and to get those much elimination as well as the booyah. But we'll have to find out, because top 1, Godlike, we have GOW in the mix, we have OGxTSG or IQOO to OGxTSG, Nonstop Gaming, the GOAT, AVIDA x KDZ, we have FANGS, GB Esports, Reckoning, Meta NINZA, as well as Revenant x SPARK in this mix. And we've seen some of the teams really move up in leaderboard, even the first time that we see them on day number 1.
Indeed. There's going to be a lot of pressure onto Bangladesh top 1 GOAT FANGS to go ahead and represent their region. Similar thing goes even for Godlike, IQOO, OGxTSG, both of them. Like every single one of them needs to showcase their A game, and this is the team lineup that we can see right here. So far, Yogi, Echo, Nancy, and Marco, they've been doing a really decent job, but now's the time for them to go ahead, take it up a notch, and similar thing goes for even IQOO, OGxTSG as well. Leg, we did see him, he was stuck in most of the situations in taking a fight and eventually could not finish it up that well. Arjun as well, alongside Kid and Chris. This entire combination looks very lethal, but that lethality is yet to be seen. Bangladesh top 1, I don't know what's happening there, but most of the time I'm seeing them hitting that marathon, those 10K runs in a single map. And I believe it's way past time. Show your aggression.
Yeah, let's see if they can show their aggression. But unfortunately, top 1 is currently the bottom of the list. Same goes with Fang, who is on this lineup right now. And to be honest, with top 1, if they can make 55, they can break through that 10th spot. But a lot of teams above them will be moving up as well. Same goes with FANGS, so 53 in the point. So there's so little chance that they would have a 0 game, or so little chance of them making the top 10 if they had a 0 game. So that's one thing that they need to work on, survivability as well as get a lot of elimination. But how can you do that if you have GB Esports part of the mix? Earlier, we've seen GOW, also Godlike. They really showed up in there on the first day of play, and there's a lot more that we are looking forward in this day number 3.
There needs to be a perfect balance. You were very right when you said this, like the amount of eliminations alongside when it comes to the place where you can stay as well. Either you get a first spot or a second. In both the cases, you need good amount of eliminations to go ahead and complement that. As long as you don't have that, then there's no point in going ahead and rushing down till the very end. I still remember that one fight where Redcliffe, they were at the final battles against AVIDA x KDC, and they could not do much as they just had like 2 elimination points. So imagine 9 plus 2 is barely going to mean anything. It's just like double digits, 11 points, and not more than just that.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Some of the teams really need to do so much in this game, but, well, it's more on how they prepared for it. They had only a few hours to work with, especially for those who are part of the group that played yesterday. But for those who played on day number 1, at least it's 1 full day or even more for them to get into play. But let's see, speaking of getting into play, we have Bermuda, the OG map, followed by Purgatory and then Alpine, and we go into second half, Nexturra, Kalahari, and Solara. So we both will be covering the first 3 games, and we know Crips and Lucifer will be covering the game 4 to 6.
Exactly, but Bermuda, the OG map, Purgatory, one of the places where people get purged. It's a lovely spot to be alive, not gonna lie. Our map pool looks much more versatile compared to the second half of it. No shade there. And Alpine is one of the places that I would love seeing so many teams clashing out towards the snowfall region itself. So it's going to be a lot more fun. Group A and C, we can expect all the aggressiveness there is in this lobby for today. And the others who would love to go passive, well, I would say buckle up, because the passiveness might sting you.
Well, let's see though. I mean, Bermuda, game 1, these 2 teams just starting it off for this day, and I think we'll see a little bit of passiveness unless the hot drops force them to go in for early engagement. But midway, there will be plenty of time of looting, plenty of time in rotation, because everyone knows this map. Bermuda is one of the map wherein it is the slowest, I would say, because of how well or how over familiarized the team are. But speaking of hot drops, we might be seeing a lot of hot drops right now, because these are the preferred drop spot of the team. But we know for a fact, Azota, that some teams go against the script on what they submitted, and then they that's what I love about these teams. They see where the others are dropping, and then they just move away, just make sure that they survive a little bit longer.
Peak not contested, man, that's not a peak performance. I know 2 teams are going to go ahead and clash it out there. Shipyard is going to be a very comfortable spot for most of the teams if they want to head there and take it a very slow pace. Of course, for the teams who want to be passive and then later on aggressive when it comes to the end games. And that's what I would love to see. FANGS come into the picture, Bangladesh top 1. These teams to go ahead and picturize themselves in such a spot. Pochinok, the GOAT Esports, well, that's a big warning sign for them to stay on their feet 24/7, else many more conundrums can take place in those areas.
Yeah, let's see though. I mean, I'm seeing 4 teams onto mill right now, and at least 2 of those would need to move away. There's plenty of drop spots, especially in the northern and southern parts. Shipyard Bullseye still available. Yes, you might be seeing NG Pros later on the rotation, but there are also Remnant Village. But that would depend on where the flight path will be coming from. Some would be out of reach, but we barely see that in Bermuda. It mostly happened in Purgatory, and I think there's one within this tournament that we've seen a skewed flight path in Alpine. So quite surprising, but in Bermuda, everyone would be chilling like a villain.
Let's see this time they'll get to chill or not, as most of the times they're just on the race of getting those elimination points, Neptune. And if that continues for a longer time, yes, teams are going to be a bit more antsy. They're going to be a bit more on their heels so that they can keep initiating those battles and then somehow squeeze an elimination or 2. But most of the time, getting eliminated is going to be super problematic. We have seen those coming forward, teams just getting eradicated in the 12th spot itself. Let me tell you first thing, you're never going to get any positional advantage, no points given there. And alongside, if you have no decent amount of eliminations, then again, it's going to be a bad time for you. This is the final game, baby. This is do or die for you all. A and C, these are the 2 groups, Neptune. So far, we had so many hopes on them. And with those hopes, it's either they're going to crumble with that weight or they're going to make it.
Well, let's see though. Let's see who's going to make it right now. Again, the goal is to reach top 10. Some has already secured that, especially those who have reached close to 150 or above 150. So there's no question for those teams, but for those struggling from the first day of play, there's a lot more work that they have to do. So it's either they go in a hot drop just to start off those elimination early on, or just play it passively, wait until the 10 to the 15-minute mark, and then that's when they get in for those elimination. But before we proceed, as every match, every day, we are asked to put in our predictions. We're going to have our predictions right now, and you know for a fact that this is something that some of the fans, some of the teams are looking forward to. The casters giving that much hope in for their team. But I want to ask you about your predictions right now.
I just wanted to be outside from the crowd. I've seen so many GOW supporters alongside AVIDA XKDC. I could see that all across. You know, we get to see the entire data, and I was like, you know what? I want to stay out of the crowd. I want to support these teams. They've showcased such good gameplay in the first day. It's just that they just got suppressed somewhere. So I would love to see that lethality coming out from them, the aggressiveness, which usually they have been showcasing so far. The Meta Ninjas, GODLIKE. Yesterday we saw a lot of potential when they took a fight against Redcliffe. All of a sudden, Redcliffe comes towards one of the houses which was right behind them, and they just understand that it was like a spidey sense which they could sense it out, and they just took control of the entire situation. So I would love to see them this time at least back some booyahs, as previously they were always reaching second. And FANGS, well, they just know when to be lethal and when not to be. So that's like a perfect combination if you ask me for a team.
Yeah, let's see though. Let's see if that's something that they can work on right now. For my prediction, just to explain myself, I just work with numbers. I love numbers, and GB Esports, GOW, NG Pros really showed that they have what it takes to bring in those numbers in Bermuda. But that might change. I urge the team, the other teams that's not on my prediction, or probably the ones in your prediction, to change and flip the script. To really give them all, fuel their fire, because this is the last day of the BR play-ins, a chance for the teams to get in top 10, and let's see what they have. Right now, we jump into Bermuda, the OG map, the green grass of Free Fire.
Bermuda, a lot of tonality to be set here. How aggressive can you be? This is a map with a lot of questions. And once the tonality is set, once the momentum ball is on, that's where teams are going to start rolling forward. Now looking at peak, we can already see one team resting upon there, which is GODLIKE. And right beside that, XSPARK. There is one team that I would love to see how well they can showcase their day one game towards the second day as well. Bhima Shakti Strip, XSPARK. This is one of the places where we can see yet another fight. But wait a second, GB, they've already initiated battle.
Let's see. I mean, two of my predictions going against each other already. NG Pros, Anubhav, one has been taken down. GB, there's only one player, if I'm not mistaken. It's Kazi Sir. He might be spotted out and blocked away from any rescue. So let's see if that's something that Cropsy will be able to do. But Manu will be taken down, and it reduces the chances of a push against GB Cassie Sir. So here comes some of the players as well from Meta NINZA, who might be disrupting this aggression coming from NG Pros.
Oh, that's very smart. Bringing at least a player, but Cassie Sir, oh my god. This is already done and dusted for last man standing. He's still running around. Okay, Speedies. He is trying his level best to keep the entire team afloat, and Plantation is not the spot for you. Just run away, as Meta Ninjas, they've already made their way through and non-stop. NG Pros, they are just on the verge of getting extinct.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just questioning the plan of NG Pros from that moment. They split up, 2 on the ground, 2 on the second floor, and it's very unfortunate that they really doesn't make that plan work out. So let's see if they will be able to make a different way into the next phase of the circle. On the other side, we have AVIDA x KDZ going for the fight against REVENANT x XSPARK, and seems like it's Taiwan who received a lot of damage. Does have that Woodpecker, might be able to spot them from afar, and the Cord from Long Hong, you know how it is, the deadly long-range LMG, but still acts like a sniper.
He's already proving his point. And he knows what's happening in and around that area. AVIDA XKDC, look at the way they're just bouncing through. They know there's a weak team right in front. Yeah. Go ahead, Revenant XSPARK. Prove me wrong. Take this fight. Win. As AVIDA XKDC, whenever they have initiated things, they've always finished on a very high note. Black, he's separated from the entire crew. And this is one of the places where the Wolves, once they're separated, they don't function that well. Tawan rushing forward. There's electrotherapy even being utilized, and this itself showcases how prepared AVIDA XKDC is for this fight.
Oh, I love the breakaway from AVIDA right now. Just divide and conquer, but unfortunately they lost Long Kong. He was far away from the rest of the team, and that's the same thing that Revenant XSPARK is trying to do right now, just to lure them into one direction so that they can isolate at least one and get that elimination. So 2v2 or 2v2 might be happening right here against AVIDA, Winter and Tawan going against Wolfen and Sahil. But we know for a fact that there's a few more players from the side who might be able to go in for a crossfire. But there goes the shot from Tawan, Woodpecker in hand, and they grab their second elimination.
Oh, there you go. Look at him. Just constantly tweaking around, kicking up a row, making so much noise that even Revenant XSPARK is not able to figure out what's happening. But finally, they're very quick to catch up on. Couple of players knocked on the ground and eliminated as well. That's a really good performance coming in from their end. But look at the way AVIDA XKDC, they're just giving some really nice response as well. Couple of players were eliminated. Now they're back into the picture. Different spot, but it doesn't matter. They'll still go ahead and conquer the area.
Oh, let's see if they'll be able to conquer. Right now, GB, it's a good thing that Yakuza managed to pull away, but half an HP bar. Let's see if he can recover as well as bring back the rest of the teams. There's none yet being taken out onto the next lobby. Still have OGTSG with only one player as well, similar to what we've seen from GB. And there's plenty of room that they can go for revival. They just have to be cautious not to meet anyone else who is a full squad. But speaking of full squad, here comes GOW. Just jumping across Meta NINZA, and let's see if there's something that they will take advantage. Probably a hit from behind or from when they jump. That is what GOW is looking forward to.
GOW, they have just missed the boat as Meta NINZA, they ran away to a really nice spot. GOW, so far, I've just seen 2 eliminations in their pocket. And Meta NINZA, they are doing a lot in this lobby. 7 eliminations. And Demon, he's making his way to no man territory. This might be a bad call, but using binoculars, getting to know where the opponents can be, that's very, very smart of him. Wise, as we can say.
Ian already in position. Death for a shot with the VSK. We still don't know where Death was. But now, they're taking advantage, just boxing them out. They know where Meta NINZA dropped, and everyone from the team is dropping like flies. Only one remain that is alive. Make that 2 remain that's still alive and still nowhere out. On how GOW prepared for that, I didn't see that coming. Same goes for Meta NINZA.
Oh my goodness, the flank was so good, Neptune. They caught us off guard. And if this is the case, GOW, they are just gonna keep chasing Vincent and get that additional point as well. Vincent, he's trying to be that torchbearer. He's running away, but again, staying in the same grounded situation where Vincent, he'll definitely be sent right across, but there's still players coming back into the picture. So Meta NINZA, they're still alive, but barely by a thread.
Fancida, 8 elimination by Meta NINZA, and I believe when they met up with GOW, there's only 1 or 2 from GOW. But at that moment, they're getting close to catching up. For AVIDA XKDZ, I haven't seen that much of engagement just yet. Only 2 eliminations for them, and seems like from where they will be coming from, there's no need to move. So they might be meeting with NG Pros in a moment. Same goes with GODLIKE, unless they start a fight, and that's where AVIDA XKDC would be going for a third party. For the rest of the teams, Chase is still on. GOW from Katowice, going in for the hunt, or probably a gatekeep against Meta NINZA, making sure that they will see where those revive will be coming from and going to, and they will be heading to Bimasakti Strip.
Bhima Shakti strip, a good place for a rotation, and you can even see how many opponents are trying to call in a rotation, head towards the smack center, get the control, and in the middle, intercept them. That's how you can get those elimination points. But talking about these two teams, Godlike and NG Pros. NG Pros, they have been doing some kind of a very mischievous job there, but at peak, Godlike, it feels just very stagnant for them. So they wanted to see more action, and that's where they've come way too down towards this one prime spot, which has a zipline as well. So let's see how well they can capitalize this entire map.
Yeah, going for airdrop right now. Probably marking their location as well. It's a good way for Zipline to move out of a peak, but I don't think that's what the plan of Godlike is. They've heard and seen some players of NG Pro. It's more of the timing that they need to work on. Yogi sees the vehicle.
Bad feeling.
If one gets off, probably step on, then might be able to get that headshot. But no, Yogi, trigger, discipline, love the patience of the guy.
Yeah. Patience of a saint. And he's gone by his name. Not gonna lie there. The entire crew, they're still trying to scout out, know where the opponents are. And this is a prime spot for Mayhem, GB versus AVIDA, XKDC. We have seen it in day one. It did not pan out to be really good for GB. And that's where AVIDA XKDC, they're looking in for some 3 points. What will it look like? That's time which will decide. Yakuza, on the other end, he's way too aggressive. He just wanted to know what's happening here right through the glue walls. What entire situation is it? Is it just a fake? Is it just a decoy? Or Winter just wants to go ahead and get those shots spot on? Speedies, he runs away, and the others as well. This is 1 point that AVIDA XKDC is going to receive.
Yeah, I guess the AVIDA XKDC's frontliner is just a distraction to give way for Long Kong to get for that shot. Or Anusit, rather, to get a shot. But right now, because of the gunshots, they pulled in GOW. Now, this is what we're looking forward to. A battle of Southeast Asia. Vietnam going against Thailand. If GOW will be able to take down AVIDA right now, this only shows who would be the best in Bermuda. But, Cryo Mine. A little bit of chip damage, plus a shot from Death. VSK switching to M82B. That is what Death can deal in this battlefield.
That was a good night shot. And Long Kong, he's running away for his dear life. Look at the way Demon is just running across, sprinting with his Winchester in his hand. And there you go, those shots are evident. Long Kong eliminated, but the team still survives as 2 players are landing down on the ground. Oh wait, it's all 4. They're still surviving. GOW, my oh my, what a way to respond to such good aggressiveness.
Yeah, I mean, given the fact that they were in lower ground, AVIDA XKDZ was not expecting them, but GOW was patient enough to really wait for the perfect opportunity. And, like, Death was just waiting in their bushes and leaves in the tree covering his shot, and he just knows where to take those, especially if you're using that cryo mind or that plushie. And that's one thing that you can use from the long range, from a mid range. If you're that aggressive player, that aggressive team, you can use that Nero to your best advantage. And it's seldom that we see that. It's only GOW's making it work that well.
Oh, yes. But there's another team who wants to showcase what they're made of, FANGS. A good fight for them, at least to prove the entire lobby that they are worth for every penny. But no, it's bad times for them as Goxo, he's the only man surviving. Meta Ninja, way to go. They just capitalized the entire area. They knew. They read the entire team like an open book. And one by one just crumbled them into bits and pieces. And this is Meta Ninja, ladies and gentlemen. They're just going ahead and getting those points. It's day number 2, and they've just understood the assignment. They've done their homework, Neptune, is what I can say.
Definitely agree. I mean, it seems like they know where their teams are rotating. And we've seen our first elimination. Cassie, sir, the final player of GB Esports. So much hope for the team, but unfortunately, they are first to go down. They did put in 4 elimination, but not that much. Now, let's see for the rest on how they can go. IQOO, OGxTSG has been eliminated as well. 8 elimination on their side. AVIDA!
AVIDA!
XKDC I need to stop calling out who's getting eliminated. It seems like there will be a lot more when I start.
I mean, there were like 12 teams 1 minute ago, and all of a sudden they're just dropping down one by one. There's even Yogi going ahead and getting some really good shots onto Meta Ninja and Goat. All of a sudden they are kicking up a notch, and there goes the entire team Meta Ninja.
Oh no.
This entire area was a doom for them. And NG Pros in the middle of all of that chaos, they've found the prime spot, smack center of the circle. This might backfire as teams are slowly reaching in towards the area.
Yeah, we'll see GOAT using Launchpad to get into the same area. Top 1 will also try to do the same, but unfortunately GOAT will be eliminated on 7. Now, NG Pros taking the middle of the next phase's circle. Have a good spot to cover themselves. GOW though on one side, and there goes Rad. Knockdown, but the confirmation comes from a different team. Now, they lost death already, so they don't have sniper, but you can see what Winchester can do in the hands of GOW. And top 1 only left with 1. And let's see on how well GOW can play this once they go for a rotation.
I would say, what was a butterfly to do among bulls and bears? They're just clawing their way through GOW. They have a different story to tell, and they've yet again, in day number 2, embarked that same W streak.
See if they can continue on. I'm still seeing Godlike with a full squad. You know they'll be deadly. There goes Valiant Dash into the tent. But unfortunately, Marco and Nancy goes down. Yogi would be meditating for a moment. Echo will try to go in for the push. Doesn't break the glue wall for the save, and he will be left out. Tag with A124. Unfortunate. They could have taken advantage of that, but NG Pros right now trying to hide out, survive, and top up. But here comes GOW breaking through the door and leaving none behind with 19 elimination and 3 more opponents to deal with.
Oh, goodness. All right, now comes the entire showdown. Reckoning. They're the foes to be reckoned with, but Demon and Hans, they both are alive. As long as they are still alive and kicking, they can go ahead and get those eliminations. What a lovely way to swing by the corner, get those elimination points with Haas. He's already down, Demon, the last man standing, and he's gonna be done for as well. As Reckoning, they back the first booyah for today.
Oh, Reckoning. Sought off to be the bottom 12 in this lobby, in this map. Against GOW, it seems like it was too easy. And this is what we love to see from a team. How they perform, how they survive, and take the best advantage, take the best timing to win and grab that booyah. Reckoning getting their first booyah in Bermuda, moving up their ranks right now.
Reckoning. They were so patient, Neptune. They were not at all moving. They did not break any sweat. And they just waited for the right place at the right time. GOW swung by. They wanted to get some points. They got some eliminations. And elimination point has been super clean for them. And IQOO Reckoning, well, they just knew what to do. Just wait for the third party, and the moment it gets over, just swing by, get those eliminations, and get the booyah as well.
And definitely, I mean, the isolation of both Hans and Demon, that is what worked for them. Though Hans managed to go in for a couple knockdown, even take down Runith, but doesn't have that much cover. And Demon right now, well, doesn't move like a demon right there, especially with the zone closing in, nowhere to go. Even if he has a Tatsuya or an Oscar on him, he might not be able to move away because he's also received a lot of damage. But let's not take it away from Reckoning right now, grabbing first booyah of this day. They move up their ranks, and I believe this brings them to 12th place.
Yes, it does. Reckoning, they'll be very happy with this kind of a performance. They could not do that much on the day before, but now it's the time for them to go ahead and shine. The first one is a really good one, not gonna lie about that, but upcoming, it's going to be even more problematic. Like we usually say, right, once you get the booyah, you have the bullseye target right on your back.
Oh, yeah.
And every single one of them is gonna hunt you down. So I hope they're not gonna fall in for the same kind of a curse.
Yeah, let's see if the Booyah curse goes on to Reckoning right now. One thing that they can do, other than not hot drop a different team, is go for a safer rotation. But that often happens in Bermuda. It doesn't happen next map that we have, which is Purgatory, and the shift of that flight path might force them for early engagement. So hopefully Reckoning would be cautious of that. But GOW has done so much already in that game we're in. Even if they don't get the Booyah, they're still a top 3. And if I'm not mistaken, that is 6 out of 7 top 3 for GOW, also breaking through the double century mark.
Double century? They've already broken it? Okay. I know you love to crunch some numbers, Neptune, but I would love to know what just happened to AVIDA x KDC. Like, what happened there? That team looks very confident when it comes to taking fights, but all of a sudden just shying away and then getting wrecked?
Yeah, I guess they know the threat that is around them right now. And let's see, I mean, they didn't have that much in terms of points. Looking at AVIDA x KDC, only 1 placement point, 3 elimination, and it was a slowdown for the team. The same goes for GB Esports. I mean, they were performing quite well for the first day, but they were just thrown out window, especially with GOWs involved. No Booyah, no problem. Definitely for GOW, 29 points, 4 points ahead Reckoning right here, who made 25 total points. And the gap from that second place to Bangladesh top 1 that got 15 still is a lot. But I mean, Bangladesh top 15 is looking good. 10 eliminations despite of being eliminated a little bit early. And that's what happened if you have the Wolves hunting. Some of the top dogs might be slowed down.
And surprisingly, it's both the Wolves, even Freckling, they're a pack. GOW, they themselves are a really, really good performing pack. And talking about the MVP, we have Ronit to go ahead and showcase what he's made of. A124, we do understand he loved disabling every single ability which is out there whenever there's an opponent right in front of him. Alongside M590, that shotgun did sing songs of death. And I loved it. 5 eliminations, damage of 2745, and 7 assists. This man is a package.
Yeah, definitely a package. I mean, you're seeing the skills already in the passive. He's using the firearm expert brought in by Nikita, and that's what you use if you have the M590. Other than the quickness of fingers, to go in for quick shots, you can use that Nikita to increase your reload speed as well as your movement if in case you get that chance. Now, as we go into the rest of the teams, we have Tatsuya, Skylar, A124, and Oscar. We know 2 for rushers already. A124 start off those engagement. If there's any glue wall that is on their way, NINZA is ready to go for Riptide Rhythm to break it off. So 2 rushers, and you know how Oscar is also breaking down glue wall. So it's a combination of all in. That's what we're seeing right now. Reckoning, bringing and wrecking the teams all over again.
Sohan being a support, Oscar dashes? God damn. All right. I mean, I do understand Vota going ahead and doing this impossible fleet because he's a rusher, but Sohan, he did provide some really good support alongside the entire team just going ahead and flourishing. I know it's not that big of a damage game for them, but still they have managed to go ahead and squeeze that Booyah, which was required as GOW, they were inching forward for it. The fights, they were so good, but eventually they faded away, all thanks to this 3-man push, which came right in. Game number 1 done and dusted. The next following one will be even more exciting as most of the teams, they've already understood the kind of lobby that they're going up against. We could see a lot of chaos, Neptune. A lot of chaos, a lot of, I would say, aggressiveness. And with this, there were some teams who were passive as well. If I talk about Bangladesh top 1, they were passive. Even a team called GODLIKE, they themselves took it very slow and they made their way through. So
yeah, exactly.
There's still a possibility.
You did mention about the Bangladesh top 1. They were passive, but we've seen a lot of nation from them. Total 10 from that game. And that's how they work. Some of the teams, even the pros in the global region, even other regions, they go in up until the 10-minute mark without any elimination, without any engagement. And then when really needed, when everyone is pushed in, especially on a map like Bermuda, then that's where they can start off those engagements. So especially if you have a sniper who had that info on where the rotation would be happening. But, well, enough of Bermuda. We're heading into Purgatory game number 2. And Now, I would love to see who's going to get the podium
Yeah.
in this
Likewise.
game, because so far it's quite different from what we've seen in Bermuda, and on the drop spot itself, I'm pretty sure it will change. It's not a preview of what we're going to see later on.
For a second, I felt there's no fields, there's no ski lodge, there are no crossroads, there's just Moat House, Marble Works, the second island, and the tertiary island. Right?
Yeah.
The main island is completely ignored. So, Forge, yes, one of the places where I can see Meta Ninja and FANGS going ahead and clashing it out. That's going to be even more fun, but Brasilia has to offer us a lot, Neptune. And that's where I'm going to keep my eyes, man. I would love to see teams just clashing it out and seeing who will survive the wrath of each other. Or they can do one thing better. Take one player towards Fields, take the other three, put them towards Brasilia, tell them to go ahead and take a fight, get the maximum eliminations, and then Fields is just going to go ahead and, bring them back into the picture.
Yeah. Let's see. I mean, sounds like a plan for a team. But one thing's for sure, NG Pros are the only one who's going to retain this. Probably OGxTSG. The rest will be moving away from this compound. If you get the idea on where the other teams will be dropping, as well as they have any information from the other plays or other game that they played, then I'm pretty sure some would be shifting. And that's what I love about this team. They make those tiny adjustments and they take advantage for themselves, especially if they know where the opponents will be dropping and rotating. So that's one thing that some of the top dogs has been doing. But for now, we keep it as this. This is the it's either the preferred drop spot or their previous drop spot. And this day for Group A and C, as we complete the mix, this is where we see some of those changes and probably preparation for next week's battle.
Oh, yeah. And like you rightly mentioned, Neptune, there are like certain places where teams are a tad bit hesitant on taking those fights. And even if they're doing those micro adjustments in order to head towards a circle or at least prioritize the objective of staying alive for a longer time. So as long as they're doing that, that's really good. But they need to somehow come out of their shell as well and get those eliminations. Be a bit aggressive in the beginning, get the confidence, understand what's happening in the entire lobby, then send it. When you tell that the 10-minute time barrier where teams slowly but surely figure out that now's the time when they need to start getting those engagements, you need to be a bit more confident in that. And that's one of the things that I've seen few teams lacking with.
Well, let's see though. Let's see if that's something that they can work on right now. Now, for game number 2, Purgatory, we're going to have a little bit of predictions as well. Now, I still have AVIDA, XKDZ on my list. GODLIKE definitely, GODLIKE did perform from their first day of play. So I'm looking forward to these teams really like correcting their mistakes, moving up the ranks, because AVIDA as well as GOW had a booyah in this map. GODLIKE was second place on the first game that they played here, 25 total points. So there's no question that they might be able to do it again.
I would say IQOO, OGxTSG, well, they have been, being in the mix of all of the fights, but it's now about time that they can come out of the shell as well, show how much more lethal they can get. It's a very nice roster, recently changed and a new name to the entire group, so I'm just hoping that they can go ahead and shine that name a bit more. Bangladesh top 1, they have been sneaking their way through again and again, and this is finally their chance to establish what they've already understood from day 1's performance to day 2. It's like a transfer of knowledge. You need to have that on point, and that's what I would expect Bangladesh top 1 to go ahead and showcase that. So let's see how well they're gonna go ahead and do that. Moreover, Neptune, this is one of the maps which purges all of these teams so badly that it's either they're gonna be surviving till the end or they're just gonna be exiting right away to the lobby.
Yeah, and hopefully, I'm hoping, crossing my fingers right now, that this would be a skewed flight path. I'm sorry, teams. I know you want to be passive. You want to be safe and probably get a lot of those points, but this is Purgatory, and you know how it is. Skewed flight paths often happen in this map. So let's see if neither heaven or hell can save these teams or probably bring them to a different high as we jump into game number 2, Purgatory, in this day number 3.
Oh, well, I'm super excited to see how well the teams are going to call in the rotations as well. Oh, wait a second. There you go. Crossroads, Motels. We see some really nice collisions right off the bat. And Brasilia, as advertised, we can see FANGS, NG Pros, and AVIDA in the mix of all of that. Top one, well, they've already received one of the eliminations, which is good for them, as they're slowly but surely kicking up the rack.
It's a good thing top one really moved away from Brasilia. They just went into Moat House and waited for that perfect opportunity to gang up on one player. Yes, they lost Rad in the moment, but they still have a chance of looting up and being safe for it. Now, let's see on what else they can do. No one in the horizon that might stop them from being passive, looting up and preparing for what battle at hand. But for the other teams right now, I think there's a lot of engagement happening as well from the other side. It is GB who got one elimination. IQOO OGxTSG also receiving a little bit of damage, but managed to get one in their mix. RKTX or Revenant XSPARK loses one, but managed to revive them. So there's a few stragglers that has been coming in from the other side. But now this is where Revenant needs to be prepared, because you know how it is. It's the OGxTSG going for rush.
Sooner or later, they're going to realize, like, there are so many teams right around the corner. And this loud machine is going to give away Kid's location. He just has a vector in his hand, which is going to look so problematic. Sahel, B20 just rushing forward. He needs to get that point, and Kid, it's not a good sight for him, but still is surviving. The others, they're joining the band, and IQOO OGxTSG, they are going to come down to a very moot point. Chris, he's not backing out from this confrontation, but he needs to.
Double kill.
And he gets completely mowed down. Revenant XSPARK, they're just going ham against this one team who thought that they can waddle their way through towards Lumber Mill without even getting noticed.
Oh, let's see though, because it seems like those engagement from Revenant right now has pulled in AVIDA XKDZ. Now, let's see if they can survive or probably move away, because they do have a vending machine right here. A revive might have ensued already, and all they have to do is wait for the opportunity to move away. There goes Tawan, and P90 in hand goes in for a shot. Black will be blocked out.
When push comes to shove, even Revenant XSPARK, they need to run away, but they're not going to do that, as they were surrounded by AVIDA XKDC. They're so quick, Neptune. One time they were inside Lumberville, now they're right outside. And look at them, just joining hands with the electrotherapy. Now even looking at Vincent, which Vincent could not notice so far. Tawan, the IGL is taking charge, taking matter in his own hands, and just making the opponents think to push against them.
Hell, let's see though.
This is very nice fielding, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, good position, good anticipation as well, as aware that Crying Mind will be landing, and they pull away, not receiving any damage, not marking any of their teammates. But AVIDA XKDC has lost Long Kong, left out in one of the compounds as they deal, or the rest deals with Meta Ninja. So let's see if they will be able to go for a revive quickly, regroup before they go for an engagement. But Shanky says no. AC80 was a follow-up with the M590, and he's still on the roll. Might be able to see Tawan as the rest of the teams rushes in.
Oh boy. This was a very nice round action. Meta Ninja, the flanks were completely strong, fortified from their end. And AVIDA XKDC, they just did not know what hit them. First it was Long Kong, and later on now the entire team is in ruckus, it's in shambles. Alucid, he's running away for his dear life. How far can he do that? As there are players coming back into the picture, but taking that jump pad was a very wise decision. But Shanky, he's just gonna keep chasing that one ghost called as Anusit.
Pelosito and Shanky has been shot. No takedown just yet, but this is just a distraction. Anusit is a distraction just to make sure the rest of the teams will be able to go in for a revive. And there you have it, instantaneous on the revive right there for AVIDA XKDC. Yeah, well, that was for Taiwan, but not yet for Nusit. But you know how it is. The first time ever that I've seen a vehicle elimination finally. I was expecting that to happen, but not like that.
Well, rotations in order. GOW, they're in another confrontation. IQOO, OGxTSG, good shots. And Hans, he's down on his knees, begging for mercy. This can be the second knock. That was not at all a wise decision. Rip-ride rhythm, and against that, you're going in for a revive? Why would you do that? But there's a really good counter-attack coming in. GOW, it doesn't matter if they have like shortage of men. It's okay, they will still take the fight and win it. What? Damn.
The death dealer of the team, taking 3 down already. And you know that's bound to happen, especially when we have a death on the other side. There goes a revive for 2 of the players, as well as for GODLIKE. Now, let's see. 4 eliminations for GOW, and there goes the hit list, showing leg position as well as the rest of the teams. Now, together with Demon, it is Arjun who will be shot from the skies. No way out, and there you have it. Death once again for the elimination.
Grim Reaper has come down with his sight, and that sight looks like a Winchester. And of course, he's not going to bring a melee weapon in a battle where it's only weapons. And that's where Death is just shining again and again, just responding so well to this given situation. 6 eliminations right now running at the top. And if this is the case, Neptune, if this is how GOW is going to keep showcasing the kind of consistency that they are usually already adapted towards, then nobody can stop them. Even AVIDA XKDC won't be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, GOW, I don't know if it's just showing up or showing off. Because it seems like they just want to...
I would go for the second one.
Because they're taking it home. Like, they don't really need that much of point, but they're still in a fight. So hopefully they haven't shown that much of their tactics against those who might be introduced in the main event. So let's see on how it goes. That's going to work right now. But as we head over to AVIDA XKDC, we've seen that engagement, that chase, and it still continues against Meta Ninja. Long Kong right now from downtown being shot from the other side by Reckoning, and then even let Meta Ninja get close. And, well, they got that confirmation as well as a pickup. So, final elimination for Meta Ninja, but there's some threat ahead.
Long Kong did not even flinch. He accepted his fate. And if the fate looks like Meta Ninja, the way they're already taking those fights, initiations on point, and then even the evacuation being so on point, then I don't think so. Reckoning has a chance to take a fight against them. So now they're going to take a breather, take a step back, relax, address the entire room, see what's happening, and first off, enter towards the circle. Because that's priority.
Exactly. I mean, priority right now, survivability. Make sure that you don't get that much damage. But it seems like Reckoning has spotted a couple of players in Brasilia from Meta Ninja with that binocular. Now, certain teams are rotating quite far, especially those that is tagged with the hit list. That is NG Pros right now heading for the airdrop, but wherever the direction is for that team, there's not so much of cover, so they need to move fast when the blue closes in. For the other teams like IQOO, OGxTSG, Chris, the only one in here from South, and seems like he's being pulled in, or he's pulling in Reckoning. That might be the end of the team. So let's see if that will work for him. I'm seeing one more player live for the team, so there's not done yet for the Indian team.
Yeah, not done yet. NG Pros, they're also entering towards the western side. And it's pretty obvious that it's going to be a really nice clash against FANGS as well. GB, so far the runs are not looking good for them, Neptune. They've been struggling with the fights, they've been struggling with the way the entire lobby even performs or even gets to know what's happening. The information game is not at par for them. So I believe it's going to take them at least a game or two to reel themselves into this entire scenario of Group A and C. Binoculars just to see where Arjun is heading towards. And this is that one point which Sohan does not want to miss his opportunity. He has already hopped on the boat. Hot pursuit out there. Look at Arjun. Ooh. Quite steps all across. This might be a really nice switcheroo. He can take down 3 players in a jiffy, but will he do that? Come on.
I mean, they were already past him. Quite a
Give us
move
some
coming from
action.
Arjun. I guess the reason why that happened is because they've seen GOW. Leg will be here as well. So that switcheroo didn't work for the entire team, but at least for one player. So still 3 players for IQOO, OGxTSG, but now sights are on GOW. Yes, we've seen GOW struggle in some moments right here, but right now, not only the ones in front, they do have a high ground. They also need to focus on the one behind them, which is AVIDA x KDC, a team that we expect to be working quite well together with GOW. It seems like because of the pressure coming from Southeast Asia for Vietnamese team, they are not looking good this time around. So let's see if they'll be able to move away from this. A good launch pad might help them do so.
It's a very bad circle, Neptune. It's so bad that most of the teams are just going to crunch themselves up just to stay at the bay. Ooh. And look at Godlike, they're already sitting pretty inside that shack. And this battle of GOW against AVIDA x KDC, it's gonna go ahead full-fledged as the players are being sent across depth. The last man standing is running away for his dear life, but he's still finding those mazes to be very astounding. And finally, Long Kong has just done what he's so good at, eliminating the entire team.
AVIDA x KDC finally dealing with a final boss, not even in the final battle. And that's one way to do it. This gives more leeway for the rest of the team to make all those points. And one of those would be Godlike. Yogi right now with a good home run shot. Let's see if he'll be able to do it once again, this time on AVIDA. Tawan right in front. Let's see, another one before they go in for a jump up close and personal, not even stopping and hiding out. So unfortunate for Yogi. He was stuck in there with 2 ganging up against him.
After wiping the floor with GOW, AVIDA x KDC, they would love to take a fight against even Godlike and win the entire spoils. 3v2 situation, and look at the way the entire cluster has been taken care of. Godlike! They were just having this one sensation that they can win against them, and finally, all thanks to the advantage to being very close to the circle, they have gone ahead and wiped that one team who was so feared in this entire lobby. Gives another opportunity for others to shine.
Definitely, I mean, others will be shining as you look into the standings right there. So the top is already gone, the bottom is already gone. It's more of those in the middle that would be fighting. And they really need this, especially for those who are in 14th, 15th place. Even NINZA on 11 right now. If they can bring themselves higher than where GB is on the 9th spot, then that's where we will be talking about who is getting into the next battle. But we need to work it out first. Right now, REVENANT XSPARK dealing with NG Pros. Spread a little too thin, but it seems like GB would like to be part of this party, but unfortunately, the Yakuza has been knocked down and no way to be picked up.
Oh, not at all. Meta Ninja, Ginotra. He's struggling, still going ahead and licking his wounds, fixing them up. REVENANT XSPARK. They have sparked way too many things. They've spotted the entire team as well, right across the fields. And this is not at all a field day for NG Pros, as they're the ones to go ahead and get inside the circle. They have a monster truck to their aid, but it's just those tires that can save them. What about the rest? And GB from the other end, they themselves know that this is the opportunity for them to go ahead and hit when it hurts the most. Leg is right in front, but Leg himself is doing a lot of damage. All thanks to Godlike.
Godlike already close to Nexturra, and NINZA will be losing their final player. But they're not too aggressive right now because they know that there's a few in there from afar, and there goes the finisher. Now, 9 elimination already for REVENANT XSPARK, and they're still dealing with NG Pros. Wolven going in for a shot. Final 3 teams, NG Pros with only Aztec remaining. Blue closing in on him. And teams like Revenant XSPARK might be taking this Booyah unless Godlike says otherwise.
Oh god, Godlike. It's a 4v3 situation and all of a sudden Godlike, they're the ones to go ahead and be swept right across. Echo, the last man standing, and he's outside cold. Does not get the support from the entire team, and there comes yet another Booyah from Revenant XSPARK.
Revenant XSPARK dealing with that final blow and grabbing a first Booyah right here. M590 coming from Wolven. He just went ham on his move, on his rotation. He gets all of those shots in, and it's quite surprising on how one player can do that, but probably it's because of the support of the rest of the team. Good position they took before that blue closes in. Even Godlike doesn't do anything to stop them as they deal with the other teams, NG Pro on the other side.
Well, India will be rejuvenating. This is their moment. Second game won by yet another team. Well, that's a really good sound for them. Revenant XSPARK, what a way to go ahead and get that shot right across. I know for a fact that there was a lot of tactical disadvantage for Godlike as they were in this complete set low situation, and from the top, Revenant, they kept charging forward. They kept fighting teams after teams, and NG Pros were the first victims, and later on it was Godlike. So what a way to go ahead and get a well-rounded performance for this one team. Happy for them. And the others, well, I don't know why. GB, so far they came in very close, Neptune, but I do not know why they could not hit that final blow.
Yeah, it is very tough from what we've seen GB does, but let's take a look at the standings right now. Currently in the middle though, I mean, they did a little bit better compared to the previous one, 12 points. Same goes with IQOO, OGxTSG with 12, and same with AVIDA XKDC. Now, Bangladesh at the bottom right now. The GOAT was the first one to go. It's just unfortunate on how they position themselves. Same goes with FANGS and Bangladesh top 1. I was expecting a lot from Bangladesh top 1, especially with the 10 elimination that they brought in for the first game, but it didn't work out that well. Even in GOW side, they were playing it passively, a little bit too passive when they faced against AVIDA XKDC, and I was just so unfortunate. But again, I did mention that GOW doesn't need to move that much because they've already done so much. But let's not take it away from Revenant XSPARK with a 27 total points, 15 solid elimination in that game number 2.
But I would say AVIDA XKDC, the way they were handling the situation, the hands that they were dealing with, Meta Ninja, the pushes, and all of those things, it was absolutely top-notch. So I believe the upcoming games is where they would love to go ahead and showcase their A gameplay. GOW as well, they're carrying forward the legacy, and it's just going on in a spree for them. We can see Revenant XSPARK, they're at the total of 36. This is today's overall standings. Godlike, they themselves are sharing a podium position. But again, all thanks to not having the Booyah, Revenant XSPARK, they are on top. GOW Esports, 35, no surprise there. But AVIDA XKDC with just 16 points.
I'm looking at the flags out here. If it wasn't for GOW, it would be top 6 for India right here. And this is what they're taking advantage of, because they know half, like the rotation as well as the movement of half of this lobby. And probably it's the time that they spent scrimming against each other or a local tournament that they are in. Thus, they know for a fact how they can work their way towards that final circle. But some teams will need to do even more, especially GB Esports, AVIDA XKDC. There was a lot of hope, especially with the number of eliminations they have. But unfortunately, that was just for that second game, and they were denied from the first match. So 2 maps in, 1 more to go, and it is Alpine. And if GOW has failed already in the first 2 maps, this is where they really didn't do so well, especially from yesterday's game.
They've already done the hard work yesterday, is what I feel, Neptune. I'm just having that kind of a hunch that GOW is like relaxing right now. They're not at all going ahead and calling in that full try-hard mode. But in any which case, they're doing a very decent job at keeping that very nice tally for them. 35 points, that's very good overall. And talking about the MVP, this is one person that I would look upon, which is KD God. My oh my, good performance. Taking Nero, of course. It's a new meta, and he's just embracing it like a boss.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a sniper build for KD God right now. Nero, well, to get that information as well as a little bit more of damage from afar with that cryo mine. Susie with a little bit of cash. Moko for more information, and Maro with headshots comes in, giving him that 4 elimination, 25, 29 in damage, and 4 assists. Also the Woodpecker. One thing, especially in big maps just like Purgatory, is very useful. You can spam all those shots and still make it work. Even a silencer, making it difficult to be spotted. But as we look at the rest of the teams, it's quite a common build. 2 in the Rusher, 1-8-1-2-4 to make sure there's a little bit of disruption. Plus that Nero, that is a deadly build for this team of Revenant XSPARK.
That's right. Alongside the tactical market, that's the kind of enhancement that the game has given these players recently itself. And the way they're utilizing it, it's just amazing to see that. Team boosters as well, that's helping them out to giving the revival and whatnot. And I don't know why the first game was not that lucky for them. And now they're just like, okay, we came in third in the first one. It doesn't matter. The second one will be a banger. But again, coming down to the golden question, but can these teams, which is IQOO, Reckoning, alongside Revenant XSPARK, go ahead and maintain the kind of performance as Revenant XSPARK? Yes, we did see a really nice booyah, but the upcoming one, can they catch up to the pace, Neptune? Or is it going to be the similar situation?
I guess if I look at the numbers, I'm throwing it at a window right now because it doesn't translate to what I'm seeing right now. Last day, it seems like other teams or some teams are really doing so much of effort, of work to move up the leaderboard. And if they're in risk of relegation, that's what they need right now. I guess that energy of being pushed down and trying to get away from that, from the bottom 8 is something that's motivating some of the teams like Revenant XSPARK. The first booyah that they have there and decent amount of elimination. So I want to see more of that, and it looks like they might be able to do it right there.
Well, I don't know why. I just have a hunch that this time it's going to be GB going ahead and performing very well. And like I have seen GOW going ahead and just casually here and there being a bit, cautious. This time it's just take away the cautiousness. It's okay. I do understand that teams are just going ahead full-fledged taking a fight, and that's the moment for you to go ahead and shine as well. So I don't know why. I have a feeling that GOW might squeeze this one through.
Yeah, let's see though. Let's see. Right now, speaking of GOW, well, they will and might be dropping on base camp. There's not so much of intention, but NINZA is showing like a threat, especially in the first half of each game. Snowfall, though, you keep talking about Snowfall and how a lot of teams might be going there, taking advantage of that. And I've seen the top dogs. They often go into Snowfall. So I won't be surprised if the 3 teams that we're seeing in the drop spot will still maintain that. One thing that I'm hoping is the GOAT would be moving away from the rest. Probably not Garrison, move away into Railroad, Docks, or whatever. They don't want those early engagement. They want survivability at this point.
They do not like a hot potato. Not at all. They run away from it earlier, and then later on when it comes, the right time comes in, like you get the just like 10 teams, 12 teams still remaining, 10 minutes already into the picture of it. That's the time when they start rotating in. That's the time when they start taking fights, engaging in them, indulging themselves, and getting those eliminations. And you took a name, NINZA. NINZA, so far, they are very consistent with the elimination game. And that's right, just one part of it. What about the rest? What about the survivability? What about adapting to whatever is coming forth in front of them? The micro adjustments is one of the places which this team is struggling with, and I'm expecting them to go ahead again, come out of their shell. So many teams are yet to do that, Neptune, not gonna lie with that. So many teams still struggling to find their way through, and this is one of those maps where Alpine has been a boon for most of them. Let's see whether this time as well it's going to change the fate or not.
Yeah, now definitely let's see. That is a huge question if they are going to change their fate. But we're going to have our predictions as well right here on the scene. But I want to go back to Meta NINZA because you did call out that they will need to go in for survivability. Only 35 in placement point, and they only need 3 points to break through the 10th spot. Push Reflex United down, and well, there's not so much that Reflex United can do at this point because they're not playing for today. So that would be the first team that will be relegated out, and that is because of Meta NINZA. Well, as we go into the prediction right now, GB, NG Pros, as well as Godlike, that's what I'm going for, especially on how they performed a previous day in this map of Alpine.
I would still go for GOW and AVIDA XKDC because why not? These teams, they're finally understood. Neptune, it's all about adaptability, and I would say that there's no one better in doing this compared to GOW and AVIDA XKDC. I am not going to be surprised. GB, they have been doing so well. Again, I'm relying on the statistics that you gave me, Neptune. So I've given GB. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. GB, yes, yesterday's performance was really good from their end, and that's the reason why I'm so faithful on them. So I'm expecting some kind of a wrath being pulled from their end as well. Moreover, the others, they are trying their level best. And come on, this is the third game. Right after this, you have to full send it. It's going to be a very, very deadly situation for them. But this is going to be Alpine, and it's going to be super interesting. Let's just go ahead, dive right in, baby. This is going to be super fun.
Yeah, let's go. As we go in, it's either the teams will be chilling like a villain or they will be frozen in place. Alpine is our third map for today, and let's see who's going to move up their ranks. Now, I want to go for a little bit of correction because I did mention that one team has been relegated already, and that is Red Cliff. Unfortunately, they were dropped to 12, and there's not so much they can do. Only we see them onto the next tournament for either play-ins or the main event. But as we look in the flight path, it is Alpine giving me my wish of a skewed one.
Oh yeah, that's very bad. If players want to head towards stadium or if they want to go to Blue Village, it's going to be so problematic. And in the middle itself, there's a lot of battle being broken right there. Meta NINZA against GOW. Yet again, the fight. Diane. He's slowly but surely making a move, but that move is going to certainly be his death. Demon Hans, last two players surviving, and both of them are just on its last two straws.
Let's see. And the NINZA's only two players. A good revive. Zahil goes for the shot. Now pick up on Hans, and Zahil will be taken down. It's a good thing Hans is still alive. Insurance policy for GOW, and they are still in play. But that early engagement could have pushed them down once again on the 12th spot in Alpine. And I guess this proves to show that Alpine is not their map because we are seeing it right here.
Okay. That was a golden ticket, though. A ticket to survivability.
Oh, yeah.
And GOAT, they are going against Bangladesh top 1. This is going to be fun. And NG Pros, they're watching all of this action from afar. I hope the third party is not going to come in that soon. Rotations being called in. They're slowly inching in, but that was a very good initiation right there. Manu, that's right. He was just lingering around in the shadows, and now his presence is known.
Let's see, though. We have 3 players from the GOAT, and let's see if they'll be able to at least catch Mehedi. There goes the Valiant Dash, plus a shot with Mini Uzi. Here comes a follow-up onto a lead.
Tennyson.
And Tennyson right now going for 2, and another one might be able to get in, but no, unfortunately he falls down. Rexon is revive. Manic is panicking right now, and there goes the shot coming from Manuvav to bring him down.
Tennyson, you beast. That was a really good try. And NG Pros, they just knew how to reach, how to dissect in this entire situation. Getting 5 points on their own. All thanks to Manu. He was very vigilant. From there on, things just started falling down. Forest completely fortified, and the others are now forced to run away from this region. They have moved themselves to rank number 7 Neptune.
Yeah. Definitely, I'm in good spot right now. I guess this is safe, and they just need a little bit more because we're almost at halfway through, and there's a lot more that we can see from NG Pros right now. But let's see if this is GOAT being taken down, adding more to the numbers of NG Pros. But there goes Cropsy going in, and GOW being taken down once again. Well, at least not 12, but with 3 elimination only. Once again, a low for GOW. But as we go into battle, 1v1 Rexan going against Cropsy. Woodpecker shot makes it, and the rest of the team rushes through.
Oh, they will. I've seen that one player inside the compound. They decided to full send at NG Pros. They're collecting carcass one by one. And this is good for them as the eliminations keep racking up. The confidence keeps rising. And with that, they will get even more advantage when they enter towards the final circles. And if they reach there, that is the case. Sharon, he's been spotted. Dinoculus being utilized, and he's running. There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide.
Well, let's see. Let's see, though, if they'll be able to run and hide from NG Pros. Now, here comes another team rushing in, or flying in, I would say. And more chances for NG Pros to grab elimination. What we're talking about, IQOO, OGxTSG. Good position to isolate at least one player. It's a good thing Robsy managed to pull away from that compound, but the group is just heading in. There goes the Boltmaker, and the lightning zone is on, and seems like it is IQOO-TSG who's using that to their advantage, not even the damage from those lightning bolts.
OGxTSG, good movements, but so far they're playing it very passive. Couple of shots here, couple of shots there. Not able to go ahead and full send it as they have the man-count advantage against NG Pros. They themselves annihilated one of their crew members, but still did not give them enough confidence to go ahead and take this fight. This is bad.
Definitely, I mean, it's bad. What? Yakuza? Not really sure what's happening right now. Manu, I think a little bit of, I don't know if it's a misclick or just doesn't know where to turn, but that could have been takedown. Both of them does have a mini Uzi compared to Broken, who has that M590 being taken down to max 7. Now, GB, quick revive onto Broken. Gives more advantage for the team, but Katsuzur will be stuck right now. Needs to deal with RGE right here as Zohan, as well as Ninja goes in, but unfortunately Katsuzur was just waiting for him. Good thing that Voda managed to go for the follow-up.
This is not the same team. This is not the same team that we saw on day one. What happened, GB? GB Esports, they're just falling down again and again, not able to gather the hope of fighting against any team. This needs to change if you need to stay towards the top 10. You're at the 8th spot, and that spot soon can be snatched away. There's like still 3 more games left. And the way Reckoning is performing alongside Meta NINZA, this is possible for them to squeeze that through and be towards the top 10.
I don't agree. I mean, Reckoning right now, only 5 points away before this game started to get into the top 10. Now, let's see if they'll be able to push themselves a little bit higher. And looking at the sidebar, they have reached that 10th spot already, so there's still a lot more work to do. That's one reason why they are really hustling it right now. AVIDA, though, they are in a comfortable spot, 4th place, but they just want to show up. Especially if GOW is not in here, they might be able to grab that booyah.
I hope they do. GODLIKE, they're playing so cautiously, Neptune. Look at them, no confrontation. So far, they're under the radar, and they're already in this, I would say, very close to the SPAC center.
Yeah.
That's how we can put it.
Let's see, though. I mean, good rotation. At least they're taking a compound compared to some of the other teams who's just out in open. But that was risky for GODLIKE. They probably just know that NG Pro is going against NINZA at that point, so no focus would be on them. And slowly they're heading into Militia. Now, I don't think they'll be going for a third party because there's just so much of eyes that might be pulled into their direction if in case they make that shot. So that has been happening to Bangladesh Top 1 right now, and I guess they are getting the attention of GB Esports, or Cassie Serve was just be coming back from the revive. Thus he's moving quite fast and heading to Rai. So yeah, safe play from GB Esports. Now again, no question why they want to go for a safe play. It's because they're losing out in most gunfights.
Oh god. GOAT, they're still struggling to find the perfect harmony. And Tennyson, I can see him, is still right next to Stadium. That's like way too south. Teams are trying to rotate in. There's a big cluster towards Militia. Compound's been taken. Hurl that. And I can see AVIDA XKDC. They're slowly making their way through, even though their information has been given out.
Yeah. I mean, they have the bounty. They have the hit list on them as well. They're chasing whoever is in there that is tagged up, because both of them will be highlighted on the map. But I guess with all those gunshots, AVIDA XKDC will need to back away. I mean, slow down a little bit. Wait for that next phase to show up, and then that's when they plan their approach. Because it's getting too crowded in Militia. With 10 teams remaining, we're almost to the third phase of the circle, and then later on, that's when we see teams dropping like flies once again.
It's like a quick attendance check. And if you want to go ahead and give your attendance, come to Militia. Yeah, that's where you're gonna get schooled at.
Let's see if they're really schooled, or they might be the ones graduating and getting that booyah. So let's see on how would that work. Oh, a little bit of standstill, I would say, and this part, in this moment in time, the Blues closing in. Second would be ending. And then we have the next phase of the circle. But with all the noise that has been done all throughout this area, no one is given that chance. There goes NINZA pulling out that cryo mine, that plushie onto one other team. But they don't have an opening for a shot as well. Now, okay, Monster Truck in there. Yes, you might be able to let it land, but how are you going to push it out in there if in case needed?
Oh, goodness. Here's the thing, right? And Neptune, is it me or is it you as well that the time is going so slow?
It is very slow. Probably it's because most of the teams are in here. They know for a fact that there's a lot in this area of Militia, and they don't want to go out of the compound. They don't want to risk it at all.
Oh, yes.
NINZA, well, I mean, they're spending so much on that cryo mine, on that plushie, but after you get that triggered, they're not doing anything at all. They're not even going for the rush. So they're just going for information that can easily be done with the binoculars. But I don't know, probably it's just a pressure. They're just bringing pressure to the teams or the other teams. Earlier it was IQOO OGxTSG that they put in those cryo mine. Now it's NG Pros, and I guess it works. It pushed NG Pros outside from that compound to the tent.
Oh. There's only 3. Where's the 4th? Is he having a bird eye view somewhere far across just like Anusit? Look at Anusit. AVIDA XKDC, they're preparing for some afterlife battles. Just waiting it out. If a player comes on top of the terrace, tries to get some information, bam, there he goes down. So that's just like a description that's going on in my head. And the others, oh, there's Manu. He's right behind, and GODLIKE, if they fish him out, then it's done for Manu.
No.
NG Pros, they're gonna go out of a limb. That's one thing that they don't need.
Yeah, they don't need that at all. I'm not sure what happened to Manu, why he was delayed, but, well, it's done. No revive for Manu. Now, let's see. We have NINZA right now, moving up to rooftops, spotting GODLIKE. Shots onto them already. If I'm not mistaken, Yogi's already out. So there's no more vending machine near this area where GODLIKE is, it's more of where NINZA is. So they're guarding that vending machine. The same goes with AVIDA XKDZ. So that's a good way to rank up on the scores. But GODLIKE, it's Revenant XSPARK who's making work on them. It's only Marco left for that team.
Oh boy. That's a huge turn-off event. GODLIKE, they would not like this result at all. Ginothra, he's making those shots count. And Revenant, Reckoning, sitting right there, knowing that the lower compound is completely open. Long Kong, that's a bold move. He wanted to take the entire place for himself, but it's a surprise for him. It's a big one indeed, and those respawns are going to be so good. Meta NINZA, couple of players knocked, but instantly they are going to be given the revival. So they're back on their feet, but their HP is way too low. One nade Neptune, and the entire team will go boom.
And it's just a waste right now. There goes the hit. Now, it's a good thing the Time Turner has been pulled out. Shanky goes in for a super med. Alif goes down. And Vincent doesn't even survive that run, even the jump. Now, NINZA, a waste of time on the rooftop, as well as an opportunity to get a lot of shots. But Reckoning right now, wrecking ball. And Sohan going solo with M590, dealing with a lot of players, especially NG Pros. Now, let's see if he'll be able to go in for a hit. But he goes down from the hands of Cropsy on a 1v1. It's NG Pros who wins it.
Good confrontation right there. Cropsy taking no two guesses in order to take the fight, and he wins it fair and square. Revenant XSPARK height advantage alongside the position as well is right upon them, but there's one team on the lower ends. But in the midst of all of that, AVIDA XKDC, all thanks to the kind of shenanigans they were about to head towards, they could not do much. Their Long Kong, he wanted to get the better of the entire ring, but he could not do much. And there goes the entire team. GOAT, they're slowly but surely making waves, but those waves need to be heard very loud. It needs to be a crash and a burn.
Now let's see, it seems like Shovo is already making those shots and making those waves as well. One of the teams that has a full squad. Now, NG Pros going solo. Nowhere to be seen right here, but for Revenant XSPARK, one would need to jump out. Arjun has been taken down. Even the Kid has been taken down. And it is Revenant putting out this spark of their opponents right here, racking up 17 eliminations. Now, two teams remaining to deal with, and not so much of a challenge against a full squad.
There goes the entire chatter. It's a 4v2. GOAT Esports right in front. The entire compound has been taken clean, but Tennyson, he's the last man standing, goes ahead, forms himself a really nice cocoon, but it's not going to help against 4 men rushing right in front of them. There goes the second one. Revenant XSPARK. Way to get that booyah.
Oh, definitely a back-to-back booyah for Revenant XSPARK right now. That will increase their odds of moving up to the ranks. The only question is, how high have they moved up? And if anyone above them has done so much to prevent them from crossing to the 10th spot. But, well, there's still 3 more matches to go, and this has made, this team has made waves, as you called it earlier, in this game. I'm loving it right now on how Revenant XSPARK is putting a spark, not only spark, but also the fire in this game.
There was like a slip of tongue in the second game itself that Revenant XSPARK, they get it the second time. And I was like, why did I say that? Let me think. Let me gather my thoughts. And I didn't know that Alpine would go so good for them. Well.
That slip of tongue, you looked into the future and you saw this coming.
But 20
the guy's living in 2026, bro.
Oh, yeah. But 20 eliminations, Neptune. Imagine the kind of wrath these teams are. This specific team is going ahead and creating in the atmosphere itself in Alpine was so hot that the snowfall, that was melting.
Oh, that is melting, definitely, and it melted away for the other teams, but not for Revenant XSPARK. I mean, they made great work, and I was expecting Meta NINZA to go so high in terms of the numbers, but even the position they have earlier didn't work for them, and it's just REVENANT XSPARK who just roam around, find all those elimination, and they win all those fights. So let's see on how it ended up. 32 solid points.
Wow.
20 elimination plus a booyah. NG Pros in there with 14 elimination, not even getting to top 3. But IQOO, OGxTSG, 3rd place with 8 elimination. The GOAT Esports, 2nd place, but didn't do so much. But I love how these teams are moving up slowly despite of how low they were in the leaderboards.
I was expecting a lot of chaos. AVIDA XKDC, GOW Esports from both the ends and alongside GP as well. That was like the expectation. I just woke up and I thought that, okay, it's ANC, these 3 names just pop in my head, and these 3 names are not able to figure out what's happening. But the others, REVENANT XSPARK, NG Pros, IQOO, OGxTSG, yesterday's games, yes, they were a big downfall, but now look at them. They're climbing up that rank. The GOAT Esports as well. This is the first time I'm seeing them getting such good points in their corner as well. Back to back, they were heading towards the double digits, but not reaching that close to making a difference.
Well, let's see though. Right now, let's head over to the MVP of that game. And 10 elimination, 29-17 and damage to 6 assists. Brought to you by Wolven from REVENANT XSPARK. Tatsuya, the rusher of the team. With Joseph, Tiva, and Shani making sure that he can heal up as well as pick up his teammates. Winchester level 3 in hand. And you know how those 2 shots can go a distance, not even long range, even in a short range, you can use it as a shotgun and it can still hit like a truck.
Who needs an M590 when you have a Winchester level 3? 6 assists. So 16 total confrontations, to which Wolven has taken a big part in being the rusher. So Tatsuya, yes, we know how this rebellious kid can keep running miles and miles and be so chaotic when it comes to a close range battle. So talking about the entire team, it's a whole package. They usually run around with a dual rusher, and that's what they've been doing so far.
Yeah, I mean, loving that they, like KD God is bringing Homer back. It's a good way to find those opponents, especially when you get a glimpse of them, that a drone just chases their opponent. And once that hits them, then that's when you pop off the A124, let Tatsuya as well as Oscar from Wolven in Black rushes in, and it is just downfall for the unsuspecting opponent. But let's see on what the numbers the team has brought in. Now, we've seen Wolven already, but I just realized that he grabbed half of the total points of the entire squad. So, I mean, really served as MVP. But if it wasn't for KD God as well as Black and Sahil, they wouldn't have gotten that boy and survived a little longer. So I'm really loving this tournament event for REVENANT XSPARK.
You know, KD God's entire loadout looks so different compared to any sniper out there. Usually what do you see? The starter pack is having a Skylar in you. You have that entertainment CEO, and that entertainment CEO is doing the heavy lifting, providing the kind of support that the rushers usually need whenever it's against a glue wall. But a Homer drone and the Enigma's eyes, that's a really good combination, Neptune.
Yeah.
And if KD God continues with a similar kind of a pace, this might be the new meta.
I mean, one thing I would say is the Homer and the Nero is somewhat similar. The only thing with Homer is it's a Homer. It's a Homer drone. So it lands directly at you instead of a Nero where like compared to Nero, yes, there's a sphere, a range wherein you will be able, like it will pull in, or it will be pulled in by the opponent if you get into that range. But for the Homer, it doesn't matter. As long as you see them, it tags them up, and you did mention with the Moko, that's where you get advantage as a sniper. So I'm really loving that. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't work that much moving forward, even into the main event. So hopefully they can change it to a Nero. That's just a wish, though, so that they can be more efficient.
Exactly, and yeah, the first 3 games, to no surprise, they looked very neat when it comes to the aggression, when it comes to getting those points, and the others are getting the opportunity. It's not every single time that we see AVIDA X KDC performing or GB Esports performing. So they have taken a sideline. I do not know why, but I would love to see them go ahead and take the flags of their own country and keep calling in those shots. So I don't know, some kind of a spark that they have lost. I would love to see them reignite that.
Yeah, let's see though. I mean, they still have 3 games to go before they really call it quits on who's getting into the top 10, but there's still a lot of hope for them. But right now, 3 matches over, and I guess me and Zoro will be taking a rest right now. We're going to hear from Crips and Lucifer in a bit. So for those of you guys looking forward to that second half, to how the game is going to end, I hope you stay with us right here. From all the broadcasts that we are, I'm also jumping in on 2 broadcasts. So apologies for those who missed in the Free Fire Max India official channel. I will be hanging back and chatting with you guys, especially if I'm not casting. So hopefully we will see you there. But really pleasure. What I'm saying, really a pleasure to be working with you, Zora. I'm pretty sure there will be much more games in the future that we'll be casting together.
Sir.
Hopefully you enjoy our show out there.
That's right.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Free Fire Max Asia Invitational. We are on the last day of the Battle Royale play-ins. Only 3 games remain until we get the top 10 teams who will be joining us in the BR Grand Finals next week. And for the last 3 games of the day, we are going to be your casters. My name is Scripps, and joining me is Lucifer. Boy, it's been so intense so far, hasn't it, Lucifer?
It has. I mean, for a shocker of how things were yesterday and to see how things are today, and all Indian teams in our top 4 teams and fighting off for Booyahs, and Revenant XSPARK picking off a back-to-back, I am surprised of how things are turning out to be, and especially that it is very crucial for you to come in the top 10 and make sure you secure your top 10 spot for the BR main event, and teams are playing like this. It's unbelievable. And now I'm wondering, what about the other regions? What do Bangladesh do? We did see top 1 also trying their best. Where do Nepal? Because I had a lot of expectations when it started from GB Esports as well, Crips.
Yeah, honestly, GB Esports started really strong on the first day. I mean, they got multiple booyahs, and because of that, they've built up enough of a buffer. So now, even though the games have been somewhat lackluster, at least they have that safety cushion that's going to keep them in the top 10, and it's very unlikely that they drop out of it. However, there are some other Bangladeshi teams who are kind of struggling right now. Like, there's 3 teams at the bottom of the leaderboard right now, and all of them need at least 20 to 30 points to get inside the top 10. That being said, though, it's not impossible. Like, all the teams who are hovering between the 7th to the 12th spot are only separated by a couple of points at max. So they just need one breakout game, and they'll just skyrocket into the top 10 and into the safety.
Now, I think that is where teams have to start understanding, bring up those points. And so crucial, Meta NINZA have been doing that, right? Yes, I mean, day 1, we ended up seeing their booyah. Yesterday, we ended up seeing NG Pros. Now, NG Pros have picked up momentum in such a fashion that they're always towards the top 5 teams in today's matches. Meta NINZA, however, they started strong, and after that, they've been picking up points. It's not always been their top 5 games, but I think it's time to start picking up that pace, because they're right at that edge of towards qualification.
Yeah.
Very close, but they have to bring up points. But if they bring up points, it's going to be GB moving out. And Reckoning as well, they have had a little bit of an up and down. They started with the booyah, and after that slowly trickling down, but they're still putting their best foot forward, because in the last game as well, they were in the top 4 trying their best, and it's looking very different from the picture of day 1. And I was surprised. I think this was the discussion we were having even before starting day 3 off. Was it's group A and C, and it has been a phenomenal set of two different groups, and I think these teams should go all out. But surprisingly, a little toned down is today group A's Southeast Asian teams.
Exactly. I mean, all of these teams, it feels like they're getting complacent after winning a booyah. Like, Reckoning had a booyah, and now they've started to, like, cool down. Meta NINZA managed to get a booyah on the first day itself, and after that, they've sort of been hovering in the top 10, but it feels like they might not make it, so they're just on the edge. They need to step it up. One good game, one final pedal to the metal push, and they should make it in. Up next is going to be Nexturra. And as you can see on your screen, these are the expected drop locations. Although, are you really going to tell me that Twin Bridge, Farmtopia, Intellect Center is going to be completely unoccupied? Are you telling me Grav Labs is going to be unoccupied? Nah, I don't believe this. I kind of feel like this whole preferred drop spot, this entire thing is a sham. It's all about mind games. Everybody lies over here.
It's just for the sake of everybody kind of, this is us. Let's see if you get down over there, because yesterday also we were kind of discussing a lot of teams could have had a clash, could have had a very early on upset which could ruin their points in grabbing up towards the top 10. But however, things changed. They played out differently. We saw how Nightmare were playing yesterday. Even though the drop spots could have been in another direction, they could have fought with NG Pros, did not happen. But now it comes back to the fact that what do Meta NINZA do, right? We spoke about Reflex United. They had an opportunity yesterday. Unfortunately, they missed up in that last game and they could not get the points. They're out. Now, who do have the chance? It's going to be Bangladesh top 1. Expected a lot from them yesterday towards the end, started picking up point scripts, but today they have picked up points. It's not like they've not done anything. It is still not helping them jump up the ranks. So let's take a look at our predictions as well while we're talking about this and figure out where we have headed, because I've gone for a straight up all Indian team prediction because of looking at the last 3 games. I'm all in for non-stop, Meta NINZA and GODLIKE.
Okay, I picked Meta NINZA. That's one common thing for us. They generally tend to have a pretty good time on Nexturra. Their rotations are really nice on this map, and they tend to avoid the more dangerous rotations. Like, they know how to get around the safer parts of the map. So that's why I picked Meta NINZA. I'm sure you will agree with it. Although I'm not really proud of my other 2 predictions, okay? Like, GOW and AVIDA are the safest possible picks anyone can ever make. Everyone knows they're good teams, and I feel like if I predict these 2, I'm not exactly putting my neck out there on the chopping block. It's a rather safe thing. I'm playing it rather safe. So it's not exactly impressive if I get my predictions right.
Now, this is same thing. I think I went for the Auzora route, and on the other end, you went for the safe route. Auzora also, I was looking at his predictions. I asked him.
Yeah, he's done some bold stuff. Yeah.
Why not? Yeah. So I was like, I think today it is working out. Why not head in that direction?
Yeah.
Because teams, I feel like, have now understood the lobby, because we were talking about this, right? Indian teams getting a taste of the South Asian and Southeast Asian lobbies. They've been trying their best. They've not gotten a lot of time, but at least these past 3 days have given them enough experience to start jumping up. They've been playing a best mix of both survival and eliminations, and they've been fueling their fire to get to the top. Now, along with this, one team, I thought, depending on yesterday's performance, right? Because halfway mark, they started grabbing points. Ended up in almost 3 out of the 2 games in the top 3. That was IQOO OGxTSG. But today, it's not that same performance I'm seeing from them.
Yeah, no, IQOO OGxTSG seem like they're all over the place. Like, if they win a couple of early fights and they grab that momentum, they can take that momentum straight to the mid game, and even if they get eliminated early on, they'll at least end up in double digits, you know. They'll get a bunch of eliminations, but I don't see them in the top 3, top 4. Like, when the last circle shifts, it's like they just can't adjust. So I hope that this is enough for them to take them forward. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to hop into Nexturra. The 4th game of the day is about to start now, ladies and gentlemen. We are at halfway point of the day, and there's only 3 more games remaining. It's either make it or break it. 18 teams enter this weekend. Only 10 will go ahead into the next week, and only 3 games remain between them and either certain elimination or qualification. Who's gonna make it? Let's take a look at the playing path. We go all the way from Mortar Ruins to its Grav Labs. Rather skewed playing path. We don't see this very often, but I want to see what kind of hot drops we are looking at over here. I see a potential clash in Intellect Center. Kinda expected. Boxing Gym again. GOW and Meta NINZA fighting each other. I kind of would have expected AVIDA to drop over here, but AVIDA go towards mud side. Meanwhile, in Intellect Center, top 1 taking on the GOAT Esports. Will they be able to make it? GOAT Esports, they have a knock. They trade each other. 3v3. Shovo trying to connect those shots, but it's being blocked by the glue walls. He tries to climb up on top of it, but from afar, Mehdi takes him down. And Tennyson also converts it.
Maybe a little too far for this. Leaf did try his best, but I think he's just gonna back off. Mehdi did find one knock, but is he actually moving with Mehdi? He's trying to get closer around the edges. He did spot Tennyson. Does take a shot instantly. Tennyson with a glue wall. Sharon on the other end, ready to help him out. But there's the Riptide Rhythm opening up that glue wall, putting him in a vulnerable situation, and no more glue walls, and Tennyson is down. Bangladesh top 1 might be converting this, and both the Bangladeshi teams are right now fighting for points against each other, and both of them in the overall standings are also neighbors at 16 and 17 points, so they need a lot starting from this game number 4. And Nexturra, it should be the place where they start things off. Now Alif, even though he picked up 1, you could see Mehdi, he's been eliminated, meaning Alif has to make sure that his teammates who were just revived have to get enough time to get on the grounds and start playing the fight. It seems like it doesn't happen. Alif gets knocked, and now Bangladesh top 1, even though the exchanges happen, they got 3 eliminations. It's not going to be enough. But on the other end, all the way towards the eastern end of the map, NG Pros and FANGS were close by. Not too close, but it seems like the fight broke out, and NG Pros are the victorious ones, and they completely eliminate FANGS, who are already at the bottom of the overall standings.
Exactly. I mean, I did not see them drop clash in Mortar Ruins. They must have rotated over here from some other place, and they've already eliminated a team, so that's interesting. GODLIKE, on the other hand, have IQOO OGxTSG in their crosshairs, and sure, they're converting all these knocks into eliminations, but I don't see IQOO OGxTSG on the verge of getting eliminated anytime soon. They've managed to res most of their teammates up. In fact, they've res everybody up, so they're back to a 4-man squad. But hey, GODLIKE are gonna pad up their stats, get 3 extra eliminations in the process. Meanwhile, GOW were busy fighting NG Pros, and now AVIDA is also trying to third party in on them. Great knocks by NG Aztec, but GOW are also getting targeted by Meta NINZA now. Wait, are you serious? There's like 3 teams pouncing upon GOW. There's AVIDA, NG Pros, and now even Meta NINZA is fighting alongside them. and GB Esports is piling on top of it. So this is like a fifth party situation. Jesus, this is way too much heat to handle.
A lot for a lot of teams because they know today is a matter of fact for points, and there goes GOW, get eliminated once again. This time also they only grabbed 3 elimination points. Reckoning and Revenant XSPARK meeting each other a little too early this time, but it's for Reckoning. They need a lot more points than Revenant XSPARK. Revenant XSPARK have started grabbing booyahs. They got a back-to-back which pushed them ahead, whereas Reckoning just below them. And they know if some other teams start grabbing points, maybe GB, maybe Meta NINZA, they start climbing the ladder, it could become a problem for Reckoning. And Reckoning, that's why they're initiating this battle. They want another booyah to feel secure. And the player up top on the dome, KD God, gets eliminated. NINZA, he also climbs up on the rooftop, but it's going to be the Bolt Maker called in for this fight. Vota spots the player will win. M590 missing his shot, but finally deals it, lands the knock, but Vota is not safe.
Yeah, Vota needs to get inside cover quickly, otherwise he'll get traded. Reckoning also trying to get a piece of the spy, but NINZA gets sniped down. Luckily, even if he gets finished off, Ronit is right next to a vending machine. I love this strategy where you have a teammate of yours permanently just deposited on that vending machine, ready to plug you in as soon as you go down. But most other teams also have the same idea. So now it's IQOO Reckoning. You got GODLIKE Esports as well as Revenant XSPARK. All of them trying to get control of this mud-side vending machine.
Reckoning, GODLIKE now taking upon them eliminations. Reckoning cannot go down to an early eliminations. Thankfully, NINZA and Sohan tread in the other direction immediately. Will get their players back up, and there it is, an instant revival coming through. And same goes for GOAT, because even GOAT Esports had a lot of players that they did lose, give away a lot of points, and GB, they were also one of them who picked it up. Now GB Esports, they've spotted GODLIKE, and it seems like they're treading towards the fight, and Yogi, mid-air, he knocks the player. However, instantly another player, SpeedZ, he's gotten closer. Now Yogi is in trouble. I don't think his players are up on the rooftop to help him. Yakuza has also dropped down, but again, the usage of utility, the wall gets broken down, and finally, SpeedZ, who is here second, helps getting down Yogi, and the confirmation also comes through. But GODLIKE, are they ready? While GODLIKE are getting ready for the fight, Meta NINZA have to be, because they're also losing players.
My bad, I mentioned that this is the mud-side vending machine, but no, it was actually the museum vending machine, and a lot of teams were trying to get control of this area. Now GB are also over here, not like they need the vending machine, but Speedies gets his eyes onto Nancy. He misses some of his shots, so Nancy now has the ability to get away. Steffi Graffiti Blessing, it's not gonna help because the freeze bomb will force him out anyway. He doesn't want to stay in that angle for too long. Nancy trying to get away. There he goes. Flies away. So this should be him safe. GB Esports will follow in close behind. Now the problem is, all of these teams have landed in the northwestern sector, but how do they continue moving in ahead of this? Yogi tries to get a 1-1-1 against KD God. He does get it. No trading potential onto the rest of the members of Revenant XSPARK so far. And because of this, GODLIKE Esports have been farming up eliminations. 9 for them already. 5 for Yogi by himself.
Revenant XSPARK cannot let this happen, because they also need points. We were speaking about Reckoning in case they mess it up, but even if Revenant XSPARK, even after the booyah, because their day one performance, as expected, did not come into play. Today, however, it's phenomenal. Similar what Reflex United kind of put through on day 2 yesterday, but it cannot stop, because Reflex United eventually stopped towards the final few games. They are now eliminated of the competition. They're going to be stuck in the BR play-ins, whereas Revenant XSPARK, they need to do a lot more better, and same goes for IQOO OGxTSG, and they're running towards AVIDA. AVIDA, they're at the top of the charts, and OGxTSG, they have to fight this, get points away from them, fighting with a Nusith. Like trying his best, getting closer one step after another, but the immense amount of glue walls put down eventually legs it and sends him out, and that's an elimination which IQOO OGxTSG were looking forward to, and now they're a lot more confident because the numbers are better for them in this 4v3 fight.
Yeah, a lot of glue walls, and even the heal drone has been burnt by AVIDA, so not a lot of sustain remaining for them. IQOO OG, they can actually go ahead and win this battle. Chris goes for the pre-fire. That Bison doing God's work. It's all up to Winter. Arjun does manage to get another long-range knock onto Long Kong. Same with Chris. He also comes in with a knock of his own. But Winter, ballsy enough to actually step out and execute him right there. That is dangerous. Even though he's the last man standing, he finds a way to survive for now. Meanwhile, IQOO Reckoning, on the other hand, taking on Godlike Esports head on. Marco? Do they find him and say Polo?
Could be. He's in trouble. They've spotted him. They're trying to chase him. The zone's closing as well. That's a lot more trouble for Godlike now. And Marco, it seems like he's revived his player. Thankfully, IQOO and Nancy are there. So he's going to just buy time now and try his best to push this further. But on the other end, IQOO OGxTSG, they confirmed the fight with AVIDA and eliminate them out of the lobby. That was necessary.
Yeah.
It seems like GOAT also have spotted the same thing, but GOAT, they have a hit list on them. They have to protect Sharon. Their position will be pinged at all times, so they have to be a lot more decisive, maybe a little secretive. Works in their favor, but they need a lot more points.
Yeah, Reckoning have that hit list. They should be able to track GOAT Esports. That being said, though, Godlike Esports also back up at all their members. Quite a lot of res is happening. Now that GOW and AVIDA are both out of the equation, the top two teams, with not being in the lobby, is going to help everybody. Every other team who's not in the top 10 right now will be super happy that these two teams are out of the picture. And they have only Reckoning to thank for it. REVENANT XSPARK, on the other hand, now want to take down OGxTSG. Arjun jumps back in, hoping to dodge a whirlwind, but he runs right into his teammate, and Black takes him down. There you go, yet another vending machine at their disposal. They should be able to get their teammate back up. So REVENANT XSPARK control most of Deca Square. IQOO OGxTSG still far away, and I don't think they want to contest this anymore, so they are just gonna hop over to the other POI. Okay, can they actually make it? Kid walks away in just a sliver of HP, does get healed up eventually, but I don't think REVENANT XSPARK are going to be happy with this. They want to chase this down, and they know that there's no potential for a third party over here, so they are not going to hesitate sending it in.
However, there's a party here between GOAT Esports and Bangladesh Top 1. It started all the way at Intellect Center, and it is still continuing right now at Mud Side. GOAT, they've lost Sharon. He's gotten knocked. Top 1, if they get a lot more eliminations, they're going to be happy. And they are trying their best, but it's going to be GOAT Esports who are finding the knocks, trying these eliminations at their hand, and they successfully deal the blow against Bangladesh Top 1, but the fight has not ended. Flash Freeze still doing the damage, and now GB Esports, they're here to break havoc. Nepal trying to answer and get points. They want to make sure they qualify. And Broken trying to spot out Manik over there. He immediately runs using the stairwell. That was quick of him, but I don't think they're safe and sound yet from GOAT Esports. And there it is, Manik. Speedsy was covering the ground, and he'll eventually put him in the ground itself.
Speedies with the triple elimination, putting GB up on the board. They had a lovely start on day 1, but now they're struggling to get inside the top 10. It is perennial for them to completely keep control of this site, because Mud Side is going to be the final zone. They need to hold it with an iron grip. If not, teams like Meta Ninja and IQOO OGxTSG are just dying to steal that 10th spot away from them.
That gets stolen. Teams have a lot more trouble. Tennyson still trying to fight out. Flash freeze on him. His teammates are going to try and help out, and Tennyson, yes, is finding value. That's Wolvin down from REVENANT XSPARK. Now, they did dodge GB Esports, but REVENANT XSPARK, they've been winning booyahs. They've been grabbing points. You can see them on the charts. They're at the 7th spot, where GB could take that spot if they win this fight and they take the points in their name. The difference between them is just 4 points. And if they take the whole team down, it could work in their favor. But REVENANT XSPARK get greeted by Meta Ninja as well. But GB are helping them as Meta Ninja get knocked. And now GOAT could actually try and get a couple more eliminations in their favor if it successfully gets conquered.
For now, GB Esports is just going to sit pretty. Meanwhile, GOAT and Meta Ninja, both of them are just into the zone now. They are entering, and they need some real estate. They can't go around without it. Godlike also entering from the northern periphery. They can see that GB Esports control most of Mud Side. They're going to send ahead UAVs as well. They deployed 2 UAVs. I think that was a mistake. Maybe only one of them wanted to send it ahead, and there was a bit of miscommunication, so they used up both of them. No problem. As long as it gets them information, it's fine. And Godlike are on a bit of a hot streak because Yogi is the damage leader rather. Godlike, even though there's a lightning zone over there, they move ahead towards the containers. Not the best area that they can hold, but it's gonna work for now because they certainly don't want to challenge GB Esports and REVENANT XSPARK over there.
REVENANT XSPARK. They've been dodging a lot of fights, picking the wise ones they know they can convert. On the other end, Reckoning, they've been brute forcing their way in. Meta Ninja, they've been sharp, and look at what they're doing. They are picking off players from GOAT as they're trying to fly and get towards the zone edges. And with that, they will be completely picked off because even Godlike helped them out. Reckoning, they have another challenge in front of them. That's going to be GB Esports before if they want to enter. And already Ronit gets put down to his knees. Speedsy, he wants these eliminations. We spoke about this. Both Reckoning and Revenant XSPARK are ahead of GB Esports, and GB Esports get these. For them, they will be climbing up on the ranks and it should work for them. Total 9 eliminations. That is more than what Revenant XSPARK have, one less than what Reckoning have as of now.
Reckoning Esports in quite a lot of trouble. They need to get inside, but they are not just being blocked by IQOO, OGxTSG, but also GB Esports. At least they wipe out one of these teams, so Orangutan TSG are no longer any trouble for them, and they find a tiny nook that they can call home. GB Esports are busy dealing with Reckoning Esports, and they didn't even look at Sohan. He manages to walk up and get a free knock, but Yakuzo and Broken avenge their fallen teammate. Vota tries to go in for the revive. He's getting pre-fired. Can Broken actually win this one? He gets the finish on to Ninja, but that landmine works so well and it helps out Broken with yet another knock. Meta Ninja hear all these gunfights and they have arrived on the scene. They are the third party that everybody needs to be wary of. Sahil, on the other hand, manages to get another res. How on earth do you plug your teammate in so much chaos?
Somehow, one way or the other, Revenant XSPARK know what they need to do. Speedsy spotted out in the open as he's flying. They want to knock him down as well. Revenant XSPARK want everything. But unfortunately, as you've been seeing, they've been doing knocks but not converting eliminations. They still have only 3. A nade gets tossed. Halfway damaged. Godlike know the positions. Compromised is Revenant XSPARK. I don't think they can do a lot more. KD God also spotted. And Revenant XSPARK are going to completely corner them. Godlike, they're holding them off one after another. Revenant XSPARK are trying to turn the tides towards GB Esports, and Black confirms it. Meta Ninja are helping them as Yakuza also gets taken down. Now Nancy trying to spot a safe and sound spot across the edges. Will move around as this zone is also shifting.
Yeah, Godlike Esports have already occupied their spot in the zone. Meta Ninja make the smarter move. Instead of challenging them head on through the center of Mudside, they go around the corners hoping to avoid that battle against Godlike head on. All they need to do now is be wary about Revenant XSPARK and GB Esports sneaking in from behind them. Oh, look at KD God. He tries to make a run for it. Ginotra sprays down half his HP. Speedies tries to take the same pathing, but that is a cursed path. You can't go around there. IQOO has your number. And that's the end of GB Esports. 3 Indian teams on top for now. Meta Ninja, they have Godlike in their sights, and Godlike have the best possible zone area right now. That being said though, Meta Ninja also don't have that bad of a position. They can actually stay here and sustain themselves. They just need to be wary about Revenant XSPARK right underneath them. But before Revenant XSPARK can even call their teammates in, Sahil gets shot down mid-air. No more revives for you.
We've been mentioning this about Revenant XSPARK, the way they've been surviving, and look at the fights they're also picking. They push towards GB Esports, corner them, Meta Ninja help them out, and they've been always reviving their teammates. However, this time it could get tough, as you rightfully pointed out. They're right below Meta Ninja. Meta Ninja sitting at 11 eliminations, and look at them. They know what they need to do next, and they push towards Revenant XSPARK. But I think they have the wrong information. They've not read it properly. Black, KD, God, and Wolvin right behind enemy lines, but Shanky finally spots, but I think he was a little too late to call that. Ignis's move coming through, and Meta Ninja are in trouble. Shanky and RNS both get confirmed. Ginotra and Vincent, the last 2 survivors, and Godlike say this is the advantage we needed. They push towards it, and Ginotra is cornered. His elimination will also come in favor for Godlike. Now Revenant XSPARK moved in the other direction using the monster struck, but Godlike, they've spotted that, and Godlike won this booyah. From yesterday they've been fighting for it. They take down one player, confirm KD God and Wolvin. It's down to one last, that's going to be Black, and with him going down, Revenant XSPARK will be confirmed. Meta Ninja still have one last survivor. That's going to be Vincent, who was on the rooftop, moves to another, but do Godlike know his position? A 1v4, an unbelievable one, but he puts up a glue wall, and now it's all ruined and foiled.
Vincent in a nearly impossible 1v4. The best that he can do right now is get a knock and convert it before he gets eventually taken down, but Yogi denies him that pleasure. Godlike Esports bow down with respect and take that booyah for themselves. This should finally get them into the top 10 where they were already somewhat hovering. But with this booyah, they should be able to solidify their position and ensure their qualification.
Marco, happy with that. Flexing the team logo as well, and it's something that they needed for a long time now. Don't worry, Nancy, I'll do that for you. And what a booyah for Godlike to pick up. It should have been theirs yesterday when it started, Crips.
Yep.
However, they continue, keep getting points, play well, smart, and now finally when there was an opportunity, they stuck through it. They made sure they did not have a lot of issues, even though players were getting knocked, just like how REVENANT XSPARK were playing, right? They were also reviving their players, but unfortunately REVENANT XSPARK did not have a lot of safe positions to play around, and therefore Meta NINZA and Godlike were causing trouble along with GB Esports. And you can see finally when Vincent was up on a 1v4, Yogi, the main man for Godlike, decides to find the final finishing blow as well.
Great booyah for Godlike Esports. They've been having some really good games, but up until now they haven't actually been able to get that booyah. Now they finally change it and win the game entirely. Great performance for them, especially by Yogi, because this guy was leading the damage charts. I think he had somewhere around 4,200 damage before we even entered the final phase of this circle. I'm pretty sure that by the end of this game he would have racked up the massive 5k bomb.
He should be. I think Yogi did a lot of heavy lifting in this game, and I think that was very crucial. We've been kind of on Godlike to figure out what's been going wrong. On day one, they should have gotten the booyah, a little mess up here and there. But finally, I think once Yogi has decided that the go word comes from me, we'll decide on what needs to be done, and that's been working. He's the main man leading from the front as well this time. A total of 31 points coming in from there, and Meta NINZA to follow suit with a difference of 11 points at 20. IQOO Reckoning at 19. GB Esports at 19 as well. REVENANT XSPARK at 14. The GOAT Esports sharing 13 points with IQOO OGxTSG. Bangladesh top 1 at 11, AVIDA KDC at 9, NG Pros at 8, GOW, my bad, sorry. 3 points in total for them, and FANGS at 0, and FANGS have not at all had anything today in their favor to move up the ranks at all.
Yeah, that's rather unfortunate. Although I must say, I'm noticing somewhat of a pattern over here. You see the top two teams, AVIDA and GOW, whenever they get eliminated early on, all the other teams manage to get double digits. Like Bangladesh top 1 at the 8th spot, even they have double digits in this game. Otherwise, if there's no top teams, most of the teams who are outside of the top 3 end up having single-digit points. Now, the double digits are continuing all the way up to this 8th spot. So that's what happens when the top 2 teams get eliminated. But that was just for this game. Let's take a look at the overall standings for today. Keep in mind, these are not the actual standings which will determine the top 10 teams. These are just for today.
Correct.
These points will then later on be tallied up with their points from the previous days. So far, you can see Indian teams are having a field day. REVENANT XSPARK with 82 points, Godlike Esports with 74, and IQOO Reckoning with 66. These guys have managed to win the booyah so far. Meta NINZA, even without a booyah, are keeping up with with the elimination points, and NG Pros also doing the same thing. That being said, though, GOW Esports haven't exactly had that great of a day. Only 41 points for now. Even though they're still on top, it is not exactly characteristic of them to have this kind of a performance. And I'm just afraid what's going to happen when they finally wake up and decide to obliterate everyone.
I think it's going to go all out blazing, but for now, the man is going to be Yogi, the MVP, coming through with 10 eliminations, as you already pointed out, and 6,017 damage from his end, using Skylar along with Suzy, Moko and Maro for information and tagging the players down, taking them out, and the VSK with Arvon. Information at all stretches is what he was looking forward to, and also playing with the tactical market. And this is why I said he's the one calling all of the shots, and I think that has lifted a lot from the shoulders of the other players. They just have to point and shoot. That's working out for Godlike now.
Godlike Esports are actually just channeling that aggression in the right direction. They always had the ability to drop massive numbers. 6,000 damage from Yogi alone, and he was always dealing damage. It's just that sometimes they are not able to convert that damage into a booyah. Now they've finally done it. 3 tactical markets by Godlike. That's interesting. Normally, we only see
What a
somewhat
play.
like 2 team boosters and 2 tactical markets, but these guys have 3 of them. That's pretty cool. Even Coda being used, it's rare to have a Coda or rather any information-based character this late in the lobby.
I think this is also in terms of how quick you could see Godlike trying to pick up fights, right? They were switching things around way quicker than any other team, and they were faster in deciding which fight they wanted to and also concluding it. Let's talk about the team stats. As we already spoke about Yogi, following that suit is going to be Nancy with 5 eliminations, 3 assists, 4 knockouts at a damage of 2000. Then is Marco at 2 of his own, and IQOO as the Grenadier as well with 2 eliminations. But you could see IQOO was the main man in terms of doing the brunt damage from the nades. He has 8 assists coming through, and one of the reasons that Revenant XSPARK got cornered, did not have any space to move around, was IQOO. He was firing off with the launcher, sending nades out one after another, and Revenant XSPARK had nowhere else to run. Only one of the players got stuck and moved. No, it was the other way around. It was Meta NINZA who got stuck, and Revenant XSPARK actually took the vehicle out of the monster, switched around the names, my bad on that. And eventually, somehow, Revenant XSPARK, even though they tried their best, Meta NINZA on the other end, who thought Revenant XSPARK would not close by, they get somewhere subdued by Revenant XSPARK. That becomes Godlike's opportunity, and they get this booyah. But however, while we are picking names from Godlike, we've been talking about Revenant XSPARK, we have to keep an eye on Meta NINZA. They've come towards the top 3. I think this is their third time in the overall day 3 of performance, but they still need to make sure they secure their top 10. It's not that easy getting for them.
Yeah, and even though they aren't that far away from the top 10, this climb will seem very, very steep, very difficult, because every time they grab a bunch of points, GB Esports also do the same. And right now, Meta NINZA and GB Esports will be in direct contest with each other because they are holding the 10th and the 11th spot respectively. These guys will need to either face each other head on and wipe the other one out to either secure their spot or go on such a massive rampage that they rack up like a big 30-point game. That should finally put them well within the safety net and away from danger.
Let's see if that's going to be enough for any of the teams, as we have now concluded game number 4. It's time for game 5. When we started this with Nexturra, yesterday's performance of how we saw GOW with, I thought it's going to be a back-to-back booyah from one of the teams, maybe even coming in from GOW, but it was not the case. Let's take a look at the drop spots that is going to be happening on Kalahari, something that we saw yesterday as well, but Godlike were not familiar with this situation yesterday. Refinery should have been theirs. It seemed like a safe spot, but Nightmare, they said hello. They destroyed their play over there, so Godlike had to make a move. This time they have Reckoning and AVIDA KDC to help or trouble them.
We also saw that GOW were somewhat contested in command post yesterday, and even though they only had a couple of other people to deal with, the moment they got done with that fight, they immediately went towards Stone Ridge and tried to fight Revenant XSPARK. And GOW are the kind of team that will keep roaming around the southern part of the map. They're gonna loot up command posts as quickly as possible, then go to Stone Ridge, go to Santa Catrina, and try to hunt down every other team in this entire area. Meta NINZA and GODLIKE, while they did have a drop clash on the sub yesterday, Meta NINZA were easily able to subdue GODLIKE. I'm expecting something similar today as well. What really did surprise me is that nobody went towards Foundation. Like in the predicted drop spots, it's empty, and it actually was empty in the actual game as well. The only team who ended up just rotating via that spot was Nonstop Gaming, and even they didn't stay over there for too long.
Now let's see if that's going to be the case as we move here in our Kalahari game number 5. NG Pros, we saw what they did, and they took down a team instantly who were very close to them right above, and this time it could happen once again to FANGS, because last time as well, close by, they dropped next to each other, and NG Pros decided to grab those points in their favor. Again, it seems to be with Shrines and Oldhampton right next to each other, could become a lot of trouble. IQOO OGxTSG on the other end, very far away for the time being as they drop out, but depending on the preferred drop spot, should give them enough leeway to grab points. But as we've been talking, right, IQOO OGxTSG, they are picking points, they are picking the right fights as well, but when we are getting closer to the smallest circle, when the zone is so small that we are down to our last 6 or last 8 teams itself, they don't know who to depend on or which direction they have to go towards to. Let's see if they will be able to figure out, as we are going to be looking at our own predictions for Kalahari of how it is going to be looking at. I'm still sticking on towards our Indian teams. They are looking super strong today, but with one switch that I've decided that's going to be on GB Esports. Let's take a look on our own caster predictions. if that is going to play out, because NG Pros, that did not happen for the last game for me.
Yeah. Now, while I have picked Godlike Esports as my third prediction spot, this is very, very subjective. If they manage to win their early game fight, they are definitely going to have a drop clash against AVIDA in Refinery. If they manage to win it, then Godlike Esports have a chance to convert the whole game into a Booyah. If they lose, then the Booyah belongs to AVIDA Esports. These are the two teams that will definitely end up fighting one another in Refinery. One of them will die over here, or, you know, maybe if not die directly, the other one will be just forced to run around and collect as much gas as possible, and then they're just gonna be stuck in that spiral of trying to revive their teammates again and again. While all of this is happening, GB Esports actually have a chance to drop uncontested and then have a very nice early game, get into the zone with plenty of resources to spare, and that's why they have a chance of converting this game into a Booyah as well. That's why I've picked these three teams. Although it's still like very much possible that GOW decide to say, shut up, Crips, you're wrong, we're gonna destroy everyone.
I think it could go either way, right? We've been expecting once Group A and C are going to be fighting out, we could see all hell break out. And it is, I wouldn't say all hell breaking out in a picture perfection manner, but in a lot of different things happening as a whole. While we predicted that these South Asian teams should have another advantage today, GB Esports, we spoke about it again in the previous game, should have had an advantage. Yes, they came towards the top 4 teams. They looked like they could have had the Booyah, but the situation, the way it was turning around in Nexturra, now going towards Kalahari, it's going to ramp up even more, and that could cause a lot more trouble. However, trouble for the teams from Bangladesh. GODLIKE, they tried their best early on, fight with Bangladesh top 1, kind of worked for each other. They were able to exchange a couple of eliminations, but towards the end, it did not work out. They need a lot more, and as we are getting closer, now we just have last 2 maps left, and if they don't start ramping up, the teams at the top are already, even though GOW and AVIDA are not raking up a lot of points, it is still somewhere the other teams, for example, REVENANT, XSPARK, Reckoning, they have been picking up points. GODLIKE as well, now that they have gotten a Booyah. So I think these teams who are somehow getting left out have to understand that these are the teams to pinpoint, take points away from, even though GOW and AVIDA are not doing it yet.
Yeah, and like I said, GOW and AVIDA, definitely they're the top 2 teams, but the moment they get finished off early on, every other team seems to benefit from it. If those 2 teams are alive, they end up getting like a massive 30-point or 25-point games, and then maybe the top 4 or 5 teams will have double digits, but everybody else below that ends up with a single-digit game. Now that these 2 teams died early, you could see that even the 8th and the 9th team had at least 10 points. At least they had double digits. So the game kind of becomes very top heavy if GOW are alive. And right now, they have been kind of feeling personally targeted. At least in the last 2-3 games, I've noticed that they've exit at 11 points. And it's never them losing a fight against one particular team. In the previous game, they relinquished their lives to REVENANT, XSPARK, NINZA, even AVIDA to some extent got a piece of that pie. So yeah, if they get jumped by multiple teams, it would be bad. But let's see if they manage to avoid all that, or if they go for the jugular. Ladies and gentlemen, the penultimate game of the Battle Royale play-ins is about to go live now. We are gonna take off over the skies of Kalahari. Make some noise for the deserty dunes and a lot of bloodshed.
This is where everything breaks loose. This is where teams decide to heat their aggression up, and it completely comes into play because every team starts picking up points instantly as soon as they start dropping. There is no instant of anywhere teams slowing things down. We already see, it seems like that Refinery that we thought this time with the preferred drop spots pointing in that direction, GODLIKE should not be safe. They are. Where is the majority of the teams who've jumped down to? As you can see right below Refinery is where it's breaking out. AVIDA, GOW and REVENANT, XSPARK, but thankfully REVENANT, XSPARK are spread around.
REVENANT, XSPARK definitely trying to diversify their portfolio and they try to mitigate this risk, but Command Post is heavily contested by not just GOW but also AVIDA. I kind of expected AVIDA to drop against GODLIKE Esports on Refinery, but they go towards the other side and pick the tougher opponent, and they might actually pull this off. They've already got Hans down on the ground. Can they actually convert everyone? Nope, doesn't seem likely for now. The rest comes through. Even the heal drone has been deployed. So GOW are once again ready for the battle. AVIDA Esports, though, 2 of their members are trapped in this house, and I don't see them getting out anytime soon. They don't have any way out. All the members of GOW just pour in through that tiny corridor and they overwhelm AVIDA with their superior numbers. Hands with the double spray down, and they will get the confirmations as well. Oh, hold on! Godlike Esports leave Refinery and drop into command post for the third party already. And Revenant XSPARK have the same idea. That's a fourth party situation over here, Lucifer.
We were wondering that this should happen in Refinery, but Godlike spot this and they quickly jump upon it. I think good in terms of spotting this out, making sure they pick up points, because again, for the teams at the top who are already at the top 5 or even at the top 8, they need to take away a lot of points from the teams at the bottom. But IQOO, I think he did not read it right. He did not check his corners, and from behind, as you already pointed it, Revenant XSPARK, they're waiting for an opportunity. And there it is, the first one from Wolvin coming through. And Wolvin has spotted another. This is from GOW this time. So GOW are in a very dicey spot. They've revived their teammate who they lost, but still have an opportunity of losing a lot more if they don't conclude this fight properly. My bad. It was Godlike who lost the player, and look at Godlike now rushing towards Revenant XSPARK. They put a player down. They've also revived their player. They grabbed that elimination. So an exchange for now.
Godlike Esports and Revenant XSPARK locking horns towards the 10th side of command post. Meanwhile, GOW have actually taken over the house side and the crate side. They've got 2 areas under their control. Where is AVIDA Esports though? AVIDA have just left the area entirely. They take their chance and escape. Meanwhile, NINZA have taken the tower. The 6th party has arrived. Wait, I can still call them just the 5th party because Revenant XSPARK have cut their losses short. They leave this area. They realize that this is just too much heat to handle and they don't want any part of this.
Unfortunate, there's a hit list activated by GOAT against Revenant XSPARK Sahil. But on the other end, Godlike are continuing this fight, and there is NINZA. Now NINZA, they did lose out on a booyah because of Godlike, the way they rushed, but Shanky, he gets knocked again. Now this could be an opportunity for GOW. While they were trying to tread back on their heels, it seems like they want to move in aggression. RNS on the other end, he's climbed up, he spotted the players of GOW, and Demon was knocked, and instantly they back off. They give a little space, a little more breather. Nancy and Marco trying to figure out what could be the best approach. NINZA on the other end, as soon as they understood it was just not one team, there's another, they are slowly figuring out their path towards finding these eliminations.
I love how GOW focus on survivability. They lost 2 of their players. Both of them got revived. And look at that. The moment Dan goes down, Death goes in to revive him. But AVIDA have returned to the scene of the crime. They don't leave it unattended for too long. Dian and Death finally go down. Meanwhile, Godlike and Revenant XSPARK and NINZA are just playing over here safely. They only have 2 of their members each over here. They're not going in for the full commitment. At this point, Marco and Nancy are just going to try to play spoil sport. Even if they lose their lives, it's fine because they're not going to get fully eliminated. The same goes for NINZA. Only Ginotra and RNS are present over here. Even if they lose their lives, they're going to be happy with it. For now, the 2 members of these 2 teams have just one mission. Hunt down everybody and farm as many points as possible. Great nades coming through. The Long Kong nade destroys Marco. Can Nancy get the better of him? No, another nade takes Nancy down as well. And Ginotra will try to capitalize on this. Can he steal the finishes away from AVIDA? No, he can't. No, Ginotra has been shot down and AVIDA has the last laugh. They wiped this entire floor. They wiped the entire POI.
What a play at command post. This is why I said Kalahari, the action never stops. And AVIDA to return back to the lands where they lost the initial frags and now double down upon it, get 6 total. And now Vincent as well, who is thinking to return back to his teammates. Thankfully, his teammates have also been revived, brought back to this game. Even though the elimination gets confirmed, but AVIDA x KDC, we spoke about this the last few games. You have to watch out. They can make a comeback at any time. And look at this. Hit list bot from AVIDA, and that's going to be on Godlike. What a play coming through from AVIDA KDC. They want to keep this aggression on going. They're ready for it. Same goes for Revenant XSPARK. They have a hit list on themselves, which was activated from GOAT Esports. And Sahil for now is surviving. But for how long is GOAT? They have an opportunity to push up, but they're not. They just want that as information.
A single member of GOW has infiltrated this prison. And they want to spoil the game of GOAT Esports as much as possible. Same goes for Santa Katrina. 1 member of GOW present over here. His only mission, get as many eliminations as possible before you eventually die. So GOW are not afraid of throwing their lives away. They are not afraid of taking on 1 versus the world kind of challenges. And they're more than happy to go for the split because they don't have much to lose now. Wolvin trying to make sure he doesn't relinquish the high ground. And his movement is good enough. Dian gets downed by Black, and that's Revenant XSPARK, who have one more point to their name. They try to go in for that third party in on command post, but then they quickly dip out of that position. And even though GW have lost Dan in Santa Catrina, they are confident enough to take this 3 versus 4 battle against GOAT. Take a look at that. Manik instantly destroyed. And now they know that the remaining members of GOAT Esports are near that vending machine, so they take that area for themselves. Hans quickly goes in, uses the grappling gun, and plugs his teammate back in and gets that res. Lucifer, we're just 7 minutes
GOAT are in trouble.
Yeah, the GOATs are definitely in trouble, but GOW have 10 eliminations already.
This is what I was worried about. This is what I was talking about. And Tennyson, he doesn't have any opportunity to go in the other direction. GOW, their strategy is simple. They always play on a 3-1 structure, on which one of the player is going to be on top of the building, of a tower, anywhere that you spot providing cover, and that's what they do. This time it is Demon, generally it is Death. And if GOW and AVIDA as well are picking up eliminations, it is time to worry for the teams who are not at the 10th spot. They're below 10. Their chances of moving towards the BR main event might be coming to a close. The shutters closing right in front of their eyes as they're losing points. AVIDA, XKDC now eyeing their next target who need points is going to be IQOO, OGxTSG, and you can see Long Kong now with that information will rally up his teammates for this fight with the Bolt Maker also called.
NG Pros finally get eliminated courtesy of Godlike Esports. But before they died, they have managed to wipe out most of the members of FANGS, so they go down swinging. Now, in Stone Ridge, a place where you're very unlikely to get third-partied, AVIDA have all the shots. Look at that shot from Winter. Kid goes down mid-air. Chris and Arjun quickly try to go in for the res, but the window of opportunity is closing in, and so is Winter. He grabs up that rooftop, grapples on top, off leg, and he pumps his guts full of lead. Lovely spray down. Even Arjun gets taken down. Long Kong accidentally blows himself up in the process of taking down his opponent, but that's a collateral damage that he's very okay with. Instant reses from AVIDA, and these guys have almost wiped out IQOO, OGxTSG, their lone survivor, on the run. His life spared for now.
It's going to be trouble, but Revenant XSPARK, they're moving into another trouble, but thankfully it was one player. They isolate that in a 2-man duel, win that out instantly. Hans has been spotted. He could have had get picked off, but somehow he dodges. Even the plushie doesn't reach him, and now he's trying to make a run for it, but Wolverine spots him. But the AC-18 knocks him down, should get that elimination as well. And Revenant XSPARK, they're playing as smart as they can, as tactically as they could conclude their fights, get those eliminations in their name, because it is crucial here. Revenant XSPARK sitting at the 5th spot. They cannot miss out on any of the matches. Same goes for Meta NINZA. They've only managed to grab 5 eliminations in total. But look at IQOO, OGxTSG at the brink at 9. 10th spot here for GOAT. They've also reached qualification, but Bangladesh top 1 as well as FANGS, who did get points, now will wait for one last game.
And this is the top heavy game that I was talking about. AVIDA at 14 eliminations, GOW at 12. Most of the teams still at 10 or less. GB Esports at least reached double digits, but now they're going up against the Demons themselves. Can they win this 1v2? Because Demon is most likely going to have to face this on his own. And GOW, their strategy of splitting up and taking as many 1 versus X fights as possible is actually paying off for now. Speedies doesn't check the corner, and Demon gets a free kill on him. One more player right around the corner. Does he spot him? Do GB Esports risk another loss? Nope. They give it up. They leave Demon alone. And even though he's got a hit list on top of him, he's managed to hold his own for quite a long time. Diane also plugged in. Another res coming in.
I really like what production did with us. For a second, I was like, wait, points table don't look exactly to what it was in the overall standings. And this is only of the 12 teams, while in the previous game, we saw all the teams who were in their exact spots in the overall standings, meaning even the teams playing and us as well are going to be kept under the radar. We are not going to be sure of how many points teams are at a difference of getting towards the top 10, because we're in the last 2 games, and this is going to make it even more interesting as teams are going to fight for every bit of point from here on.
Yeah, so now you either have to do some quick mental maths, or you just have to enjoy the mystery that our lovely producers are bringing up. Black Can he actually go into the zone right away? I mean, they've dodged the UAV for now. And nobody seems to be gatekeeping them, so REVENANT XSPARK might have an easy time. GB, on the other hand, are about to run to DOW. I don't think they know. No, they don't. Kazisor and Broken. Yeah, they're just going around. And sure, Demon is marked by the hit list, but they don't know the positions of the rest of their teammates. Now Demon has revealed his position, so GB Esports are gonna take every step with caution, but Meta NINZA are flying right over their heads. Do any of them decide to challenge them? Nope. Death just tries to run away. He couldn't have escaped Death over there. Vincent gets the better of him. Broken, still fighting Hans. And Kazisor, wow, what a shot! He jumps up and gets that headshot onto one more die. And GB Esports are holding their own against GOW. Somehow, the gods of fighting are actually being torn down.
That was quick of him, and GB Esports, they needed this. And they're in a split, they have to get closer. But look at AVIDA, XKDC, there is going to be on REVENANT XSPARK. And REVENANT XSPARK, Wolvin's down. Tawan, he spots another, and in midair, he takes him down, and it's up to KD God to fight for his team's survival. And no, they say AVIDA put another team down, push their eliminations to a total of 19, and it looks unstoppable. As you said, if they keep doing this, the team at the top will take away so many eliminations that there will be no chances of recovery for the teams who are still trying to make their mark towards the top 10. And this is AVIDA still making this at the edges of the zone.
GB Esports, a team that desperately need points. They are currently at the 10th position overall. But if they lose out their lives very early on now, it's going to be disastrous for them. And they might just get spotted. Speedy's neighbors with a very unruly Reckoning Esports. How long can he survive over here? Meta NINZA can't survive. You know that the last man was taken down by GODLIKE Esports, and Vota finds Speedy. So, yeah, now, chance by chance, teams are starting to lose their lives. Even GB Esports is out. And this is going to be a very anticlimactic endgame because there's 4 teams alive and there's plenty of real estate available.
Top 4 teams, there's a lot of real estate. Numbers, however, for IQOO OGxTSG not in their favor. They're already losing players. And against AVIDA, it's not the likely move. They have to play a lot more smarter. And it seems like AVIDA know the position of one of the players. They're just above another floor and they're running towards that elimination leg. What can he do? Can he provide help for his teammates? The dash coming in from the Oscar, and he will be put down to his knees. That's another elimination, pushing this to 21. IQOO OGxTSG, even though they again make it to the top 4, it doesn't seem to be working in their favor. And now it's down to the last man standing, Kid. AVIDA, XKDC right in front. And what does Kid do? Puts up glue wall all across, wondering that they should be launching a couple of nades, but with that glue wall, that is full information, and you could see they're running towards him itself. They want to complete that fight, get that elimination in their favor, and a Riptide Rhythm from another end was put against him. So Kid, he is being hit with trouble from everybody in every direction while he's trying to fight for survival.
Kid tries to enter the zone late, thinking that he will be very sneaky. Unfortunately, he's not, and that's the end of his team. And now we are down to the last 3 teams. AVIDA, 3-man strong. Meanwhile, GODLIKE and Reckoning Esports have all their members available. Reckoning Esports are in a lovely position from where they can actually shoot down both these teams. GODLIKE already using the launch pads, going towards the side of the zone, not trying to take that head-on fight against Reckoning Esports. And luckily, they've got the reinforced glue walls as well, so they should be fine. The entire area is just lit up with lightning bolts. AVIDA Esports try to go for the one place where they have some sort of permanent cover on top of that sniper tower, but AVIDA Esports end up losing Winter. But look at Pablo, he's doing so much. He got 2 knocks from 2 different teams, and now Water has to stand on his own. He's getting pummeled by all these grenades. GODLIKE Esports going in for the full send, but they end up crashing into Reckoning Esports like waves on the shore. And now it's time for AVIDA to go in for this 3v2. They get everything. They get the booyah.
AVIDA knew what they were doing here on Kalahari. This is why we said the last 2 games, anything could happen. Teams who were looking forward to points from the very start of it, who did not get it, might pick it up in the very last, and AVIDA just do it right now. And what a game coming in from their end. They played so smart, picked the points one after another, picked teams off and pushed everybody out of Kalahari, not even giving them chances. And their comeback towards Command Post itself imbibed the booyah that came right now.
I want to see that fight once more. Producers, hit the replay button because that was a very well executed fight from AVIDA Esports. They tanked a little bit of the zone damage and they take that sniper tower away from Yogi. Just yoink it away. As soon as they have this hard cover, they could take this time, reset a little bit, and there you go. Because Reckoning and Godlike are already fighting each other, and these guys are just going like cats and dogs at each other's throats, AVIDA Esports have the time to go in and wipe out both these teams because they have been weakened already. And even though there's like a bunch of grenade launchers, both in the hands of Reckoning Esports as well as Godlike, AVIDA are like, cool, we're just not going to stay in one spot for too long. They dodge all the bombs. In fact, I might even have witnessed a little bit of a mistake because Reckoning Esports ended up getting a self-elimination. I think the grenade blew up in their own faces. So yeah, that contributes to AVIDA getting a booyah.
Yeah, Ronit was trying to shower. AVIDA tried their best in terms of keeping their foot and as well as the fight ongoing, and as you rightfully said, Ronit tried his best of showering the nades one after another, but unfortunate. I think it was also the split on one in the zone. AVIDA had the numbers, all of that worked in their favor. Longkong, Tavan, Winter, Pablo and Anuset get another booyah, will keep staying at the top. What does this mean for the teams at the bottom? As we said, it could be eliminations, and AVIDA x KDC, they match up with the second highest points that we've seen here in the BR planes. That is a total of 39 with GODLIKE. Now, do we see a record breaker happening? We will get to know in the BR main event. There is still, however, one more game to go. That's going to be Solara. But on the other end, Reckoning, they grab 23 points. GB Esports, they match up with Godlike at 18. GOW with 16. Revenant XSPARK at 14. IQOO OGxTSG, the team who's trying to get to the top 10, fighting their best as much as possible, is going to be at 13 with Meta NINZA at 12. NG Pros at 7. Slowly, how the day started, how the day ended yesterday for NG Pros is not the same that's functioning today for NG Pros, but they're grabbing points. But the three Bangladeshi teams together, GOAT, Top 1 and FANGS, 7, and the other two nothing respectively.
Yeah, they've been heavily outclassed by every other nation so far, so this is very concerning. What's even more concerning is that while AVIDA might not have been able to shatter the record of most points in a single game, that record still belongs to GOW at 41 points in a single game. Longkong might just challenge the single solo eliminations, highest eliminations in a single game. He's got 11 so far. And if I'm not wrong, the record before this was 10 eliminations in a game by, I believe it was either Yogi or maybe it was someone from the side of GOW, maybe it was Death.
Yeah.
But so far, I think Longkong has that record of the most number of single eliminations in a game at 11. And even though he's got eliminations, he has just a little less than 4,000 damage. Those two numbers do not match up. But that number indicates a story that AVIDA love how to third party, and they are doing it really well. You could see that how they jumped in against against Reckoning and Godlike Esports. They were able to get both of those teams while they were at their weakest, leaving them absolutely zero time to, recompose themselves and prepare for the next fight.
I really like how the team is built in terms of their stats, their passives, as well as their active skill that we are seeing, right? On one end, yes, Oscar as the dasher, we end up seeing Tavan, who did make a move. That is the reason they cleared off. It was IQOO OGxTSG, got that elimination. On the other end, Casey as well, in terms of healing, and they have two supporters that they have. And look at the playstyle. If you look at both Longkong and Pablo, they are looking forward to information, pointing players out, making it quicker, making players fight. But on the other end, Tavan as well as Winter, in terms of their passives for survivability, taking up the damage and making sure they're ready for the next upcoming fight. Let's talk about their individual stats as well in terms of the numbers. Winter has 6 total eliminations, Tavan has 8, Pablo, who is supporting the team, has 2, but he also has 4,162 damage and 15 assist scripts.
Yeah, man, that is some ridiculous number. I mean, 15 assists alone is massive. And it's not just him. 3 out of the 4 players in this team have been contributing crazy amounts of damage. 3,900 from Longtong, 4,162 by Pablo, 3,700 by Tavan. And sure, Winter is less than 2,000 damage, but that is completely okay because he was dead for the the last few circles. And even if they didn't res him, it's completely fine. They are able to win this game with just 3 players.
I'm right now a little kind of shaky, if you would want to put it that way, because it's the last game, right? We had 18 teams when we started this, and now we're going to only have 10 teams who are again going to become 18 teams as they're going to be meeting the seeded invited teams in our BR main event, and they're going to again fight off in the same stretch of the group stages that we're going to be seeing. But 8 teams are going to be saying goodbye to us with all the performances they put forth from various different regions, both South Asia and Southeast Asia. But we will see if it is going to be a case that one specific region has a lot more players or teams to lose, because as of now in the Fire MAX Asia Invitational, every region took time. If you take for example India, right, we thought day 1 could have been good, but Meta NINZA was the only team who showed up a lot, Nightmare along with them, but eventually day 2 we ended up seeing a lot more SPARK coming in from various different teams, and day 3 it's only Indian teams. However, one consistent region has been Southeast Asia. Every team from their end have been fragging out, grabbing points. It looks unstoppable from their end, and I'm worried as we are going to be heading towards the main event as well. But let's come back as we still have one more game to go, that is Solara. Which team still has a chance? I still have a little bit of thoughts towards GB Esports because they're picking up the right fights, but I think towards the end a little bit of more information could work in their favor, and with information we talk about the preferred drop spots.
GB Esports, as you pointed out, are gonna be facing Bangladesh top 1, which as of now don't seem to be that much of a threat to GB. Meanwhile, TV Tower is going to be heavily contested by Reckoning, NG Pros and FANGS. Now, I believe one of them might just drop off to Archway, maybe even go towards Funfair. You know that Reckoning Esports love rotating via Funfair, but so do Revenant XSPARK. And if Revenant XSPARK manage to stay alive and win their battle against GOAT Esports, if at all there is a battle, then both Reckoning and Revenant might just end up fighting each other in Funfair. We saw a similar battle in the previous day as well. Now, I have a big problem with AVIDA landing in Delta Isle, because are they even gonna go there? They usually have a split drop, sometimes in Aquarium, sometimes in Delta Isle. So is IQOO OGxTSG in danger? You can never tell. Not for sure.
Yeah. Especially with us not seeing the overall standings at all. So IQOO OGxTSG, they're playing for survival as long as possible, but when it comes to the last few circles, when the zone is shrinking, they don't have much to go with, and their players are running about trying to figure out a safe spot rather than fighting heavy, right? I think if they change that over, it could work for IQOO OGxTSG, because they are closer, I feel like, towards qualification, towards the top 10, because Meta NINZA on the other end, they've been picking points very consistently. They've not been missing on a single map. Even though they've not gotten a booyah, I still feel like the number of points that they're able to secure should be driving them up towards the top 10. Not much of a trouble, but IQOO OGxTSG were right behind them. Did they follow that suit? That's the question right now. Even though they came close towards right now AVIDA, who took the booyah, it could have been a situation where Kid could have survived, tried his best, but the zone was closing. So what happens here on Solara? Now again, when we talk about in terms of the map, in terms of its terrain, in terms of when it came to, Solara is in general comparison the new one, but I don't think it's going to be a trouble for anybody. However, teams at the top, SCA taking away so many points. AVIDA just did now, and I'm worried for GOW now starting.
Yeah, I mean, AVIDA and GOW don't have much to lose, right? They already have secured their spots in the top 2 of this entire tournament. I think they're just going to treat Solara like a massive game of deathmatch, and they're going to try to hunt as many teams down as possible. And that is why I've got one of these teams in my caster predictions as well. Let's take a look at that, by the way. It's obviously very easy for me to just pick both GOW and AVIDA as, you know, the go-to picks, because they're the top 2 teams. It would be foolish to not pick them. But I've also picked up GB Esports because they are an elimination hungry team, but they can somehow tame their aggression a little bit, reel it back in when the moment calls for it. So there's a pretty good chance that the teams that don't have much to lose are just going to go around hunting everyone. But I see that you picked up GODLIKE and Revenant XSPARK. I understand why GODLIKE, they can be quite devastating, but why Revenant XSPARK?
I think they started off on a high note today. They want to continue that, because in the past few games they were closer, but we spoke about it, right? The fights that they were picking, at least till Nexturra, when we saw that, they were very decisive of it. But here on Kalahari, it seemed like it was pushed upon them. They were not ready for the fight, got eliminated. But I feel like in the last game, it could change for them. I wanted to go for IQOO OGxTSG. That's why I kind of was a little dicey between Revenant XSPARK, IQOO OGxTSG, and even Reckoning. But I saw Reckoning how they were already playing, and I feel like I'm giving benefit of the doubt for Revenant XSPARK as what Reckoning did. Revenant XSPARK gonna go do towards the end of it. But IQOO OGxTSG could be my fourth pick because I thought they could have done a lot more. They knew where AVIDA were coming from. They were ready for them, but they did not have the numbers. They lost the player as soon as they entered the compound. Do they do things differently? Might be it working for them.
I mean, I agree with almost everything you said so far, except the part about IQOO OGxTSG. I don't think they can even make it into the top 10 today. It's going to be a massive... It's going to take a massive game for them if they want to make it. Yeah. But there's only one game left, ladies and gentlemen. Only one more match that determines who's going to be the top 10 teams that join us next week. Ladies and gentlemen, the final game of the Fire MAX Asia Invitational play-ins is now underway. We are dropping down over the skies of Solara, and this could determine which one of these teams will get eliminated and which one of them will make it to the finale. IQOO OGxTSG, they said they're going to go towards Delta Isle, but they go to the exact opposite end of the map. They go towards the hub, and they're going to have a drop clash against Meta NINZA. Meanwhile, TV Tower only occupied by NG Pros, and as we expected, GB Esports go towards Archway. And the fight has already begun. Shanky, Ginotra down. IQOO OGxTSG also lose 2 members. But within just a matter of seconds, they wipe out 2 of their players and get the other 2 back online. Leg goes down as I say that. RNS sprays him down with the Uzi, gets the confirmation as well, but will he be traded? Chris is trying to get the elevation. He's trying to jump above that blue wall, but that gives enough time to RNS so that he can heal up. Jump shot, still not enough. Arjun comes in to help, and that's going to be the end of RNS. Meta NINZA cannot afford to get eliminated right now because they are not in the top 10 yet. And if this is an early exit for them, they can basically kiss the final week goodbye.
But on the other end, IQOO OGxTSG, they have to afford this. They have to be ready for everything that they could grab, and they should spot another team. Chris, I'm not too sure because we did see on our screens, maybe they did not yet spot the player. But IQOO OGxTSG, they need every bit of it. They should have dropped at the other end of the map. They moved towards the hub, but they should have gone to Delta Isle. On the other end, what is Aztec doing?
He's trying to break that
the glue walls. Moving left and right. Finally, they break that, drop him to his knees and call him for a fight, and so is his teammates as well. With the Bolt Maker activated, could be trouble. Demon is down. NG Pros trying to play together. Anubhav, he's trying to go ahead, spots the player with the Bison, puts Dian down. Now it's up to Death to help his teammates out, but he's surrounded. And GOW, my pick, who thought who could get a booyah here, close it on a high. They're the first team to be eliminated, and NG Pros have somehow cleared space, bought a lot of points for every other team who are still fighting for qualification.
This is the team that was doubted by everybody a few months ago in the Fire MAX India Championship. These guys had potential, but they choked in the finals. And now by eliminating the top team of the Asia Invitational, they have secured not just their spot in the finale, but also the hearts of everybody who doubted them. NG Pros, this is not just a fight win, this is a statement.
And I spoke about this yesterday when we... I think saw a fight with NG Pros and Kagendra, a much needed fight to build confidence. And I think once they did that, after that they even ended the day with a booyah. And I was just talking about them right before this, that it has not been a spectacular run for them, but they've done really well so far in terms of grabbing points. They're in a safe spot and now they grab a lot more. But I think this is a positive note for the other teams who would have known now that GOW is out of the lobby. Time to pick up points. Which teams though? It should be GOAT, it should be Bangladesh top 1. FANGS, I feel like a little too run away right now. It could not work for them. And as I speak about FANGS, it is AVIDA, XKDC, who are picking their eliminations. Ion tried his best, put one player down, but can he survive? No, they say. And one last player through the glue wall who is already known and will be put to rest, with FANGS going out, meaning their qualification is not going to happen. One of the teams that we have to say goodbye to.
Oh my god, yeah, FANGS are out. They basically fed AVIDA Esports XKDC, but NG Pros are here to third party. Unfortunately, they're a little late to the party. AVIDA have already reset and prepared themselves for the next bout. Long Kong, he might have been eliminated, but Anubhav and Cropsy, they help each other up. The revive from the Thiva comes through instantly, and you've also got Aztec on top. NG Pros managed to win this fight as well. On the other end, you got IQOO OGxTSG, who were just eliminated. So that is them completely getting eliminated from the tournament. I don't think they can continue ahead in the finals.
It only depends on the overall standings. Hopefully, maybe they picked up enough points with the last fight that they had, the 3-4 eliminations they grabbed. But yes, as you said, that puts them in a dicey corner. I'm not too sure of how that is going to look. On the other end, NG Pros, after they fought off with AVIDA, it was not a full-on team vibe. They do manage to grab total of 9 eliminations. Meta NINZA on the other end, making sure they secure their qualification. Bangladesh top one, Mehdi. He gets spotted out in the open. A quick grab coming in from Shanky on the Bison. Now the vehicle will reunite with his teammates. What do we expect out of this last game of Solara? Who gets the booyah? Who's going to play out smart? Who's going to make sure they go towards the very end? Because the teams who needed points one after another seems like they are faltering.
Yeah, all the teams who desperately needed those points are faltering, which actually is good for Meta NINZA because that clears up the pathway for them.
Yes.
Reckoning Esports now locking horns with the GOATs. Still a rather long-range fight though, so even if they get a knock, I doubt they will be able to convert it. And now they're wondering whether this fight is even worth it or not. They are in a spot which can be easily third-partied right next to the zip rails. But they're not hesitating. They full send it in, and Rexon realizes he's in grave danger. He runs away as quickly as his nimble feet can carry him. Even the UAV light has been used by IQOO Reckoning so that the glue walls don't get destroyed. Rexon takes to the skies, makes his escape, and Reckoning will use his own launch pad and continue chasing him down. Oh, poor Rexon just simply cannot catch a break, and he finally gets shot down. All those maneuvers, good for naught.
Wanted to put up a glue wall over there, but a little too late to that party. And GOAT end up giving another elimination. Reckoning, they are the team that started with a booyah today. And after they started, it has looked really good for them. They've been one game after another moving up the rung. The overall standings looking better for them. But do they continue it completely here on Solara? Do they grab a booyah? They end the day on a high note as well. Ronit, he's believed in this team. He's pushing this team forward, and it's been another run with the same set of players for him. Youngsters with a mix of experience coming through on his end, and it seems like this should be theirs. But GODLIKE as well, one of the picks that I did is the reason that the way they start things off, the way they've been in aggression for a booyah, somehow cascaded today. They found one, and if they continue it, the aggression, the way Yogi is again leading the charge, you can see he's the front runner. He's the one looking forward to spotting the team. And he might spot on one end Reckoning, on the other end maybe go to her on his eastern end of things or the right hand side. But it seems like he doesn't look at that direction. But GB could, because they could spot GOATLIKE as they're taking the track, making their move inside the zone.
GB Esports disembarking from the track just moments before they come in contact with Reckoning. That's good, because Reckoning Esports might be able to gatekeep them very well. And they can afford to tank the zone damage for now. It's just the second circle, you know, it's not that problematic. NG Pros might get into a fight against AVIDA because Tavan and Pablo managed to get the knock onto Aztec and Cropsy. We need to move towards that shot because even Anubhav is down. NG Pros down to just one player. Can he escape? Aztec has been brought back on his knees. And he gets dropped again. Oh lord, that revival didn't exactly pan out in their favor. Aztec gets plugged in by Manu in a vending machine. So now it's 2 players for NG Pros. Make it 3. And they're far away from AVIDA. So, yeah, NG Pros, they might have just donated a couple of points to AVIDA, but they're not going to lose out on their players anytime soon. Reckoning, on the other hand, going head-to-head against GODLIKE. But IQOO uses that nade incorrectly. He downs himself.
On the other end, Ronit, he gets picked off. That's GB Esports. We spoke about this. GB, GOAT, GODLIKE, Reckoning were all under the same edges around Echo Drain. But it seems like Reckoning, after losing Ronit, decide rather not to move in the direction of GB Esports, head in the other direction, and again move towards the circle itself. Whereas GOAT, same intention. And GOAT are trying their best. I think of the other teams that we've been talking about, GOAT also maybe has an opportunity. They have to survive as long as possible, grab eliminations if possible as well, revive their player. Now Manik, they are heading towards a vending machine to bring him back up. But if they do make mistakes, they could get taken down. Bangladesh top 1 as well, trying to play as smart as they can. But look at the direction they're heading towards. That's GB Esports. And GB Esports, they already have advantage. GB, if they continue this, their qualification is already there. They'll get a lot more points. And Bangladesh top 1 will miss their opportunity. And it seems like shots are being taken from Bangladesh top 1 as well as GB Esports, as both are trying to hold the edge of the circle.
Bangladesh top 1 have quite a good spread. You got Shubho on that rock, Mehdi near the blue container, and you got Rad who's closing in. Meanwhile, GB Esports are all huddled up near the red container. Lightning Zone deployed on top of Bangladesh top 1, hoping that this will flush them out of cover. And it seems like GB Esports have all the information they need. They know that there's a 2-1 split. Make it 2-2 now as Rad and Mendy also come closer towards each other, getting inside that blue container so that they don't get affected by the lightning. Plushy has been sent towards them. Just a little bit of tick damage, forcing them to go to the other side of the blue container, which allows GB Esports the space they need to close in. And now it's going to turn into a 3v2 battle because Mehdi and his teammate Rad have both been destroyed by the grenade launchers. No hope of revival over here. Showa and Aleph have to cut their losses short. They're trying to get up on that mini launch pad and get the hell away from this spot.
This is what I was worried for Bangladesh top 1. Not the right team to take the fight against, but they need the points. They need to take the fight with everybody as of now. Because the teams at the top are the ones who are still surviving, not the other way around. And there it is, the last player. And he drops right in front of Godlike. And with that, Bangladesh top 1 are also eliminated. But look at the fight. It doesn't stop for Godlike as Reckoning instantly jump. Marco and Nancy both are down. It's up to IQOO. IQOO has to make a run, but he's running out of tracks. He doesn't know where to run for. Can he revive his teammates? The vending machine not close by. Reckoning have completely surrounded. And behind Reckoning, there is NG Pros. And finally, with IQOO going down, that is another team to be eliminated. But right behind Reckoning, NG Pros, they've also decided to continue this onslaught and a fight and eliminations to see who grabs this last booyah of the day.
While this is happening, they've also got a hit list on Revenant XSPARK. I don't know what they'll do with this information, but they definitely know what to do with Aztec. Snipe him down. His skull blasted open. Vota exacts revenge by getting a knock on to one more guy, and Ronet sprays down Copsy with that Bison. Great revival from them. You got Ronet as well, using the double shotgun. He's got the M590 and the Swag 7. Both of them being used to just pump his opponent's guts full of lead. Reckoning Esports handling themselves really well. And NG Pros, that attack has been thwarted for now, as the last member will be sent packing back to the nearest vending machine.
We have 7 teams right now online playing here, looking forward to a booyah. GB Esports maybe want to end a day with the booyah itself in their name. A team who had a back-to-back on day 1, now not seeming in that direction. On the other end, again, another team who miss out. That is the GOAT Esports. They get eliminated in the hands of Meta NINZA, meaning their chances of qualification, I don't think they are great. But Meta NINZA, with that, they've given away their position. And Vincent, he gets spotted, instant knock and elimination. And Meta NINZA, their other players are now outside the zone. You can see Advon Dinoculars already used. Both the players were spotted. One of the players goes down to the zone itself, and the last player surviving from Meta NINZA. And AVIDA XKDC back-to-back is what they might also be inclining on, because they could get a booyah. They could ruin it for everybody else as well.
Oh, both these teams are on the edge of the zone. You've got Revenant and XSPARK, who've been rather silent all game. They were going for a rather passive approach, but now they will be forced to fight. Black and KD God going up against Reckoning. Meanwhile, Sahil and Wolving trying to hold GP Esports at bay. This is the 2-2 split. I don't think they can handle both these teams at once.
That's the reason they regroup. Revenant XSPARK decide. We know now that the team's position are in an iffy spot, and they're in a flat land, so they can be positioned and cornered from all positions. They're direct for everybody in terms of a fight, and they want to play it out smart. Reckoning as well, trying to take their time. They want this last booyah. They've spotted AVIDA XKDC. They did knock a player as well, and that's the reason they're trying to wait it out. On the other end, Revenant XSPARK do they make a push? They have an opportunity because towards the edges of the circle, it's only Reckoning in front of them. And if Revenant XSPARK make the right move, it should work in their favor. But Reckoning, you can see already, they're holding players from Revenant XSPARK and not allowing them to get closer.
AVIDA Esports sitting nice and pretty over there. They don't want to move just yet. They know that GB Esports as well as NG Pros are both looking at them. They need to be more worried about Meta NINZA because Meta NINZA can actually spoil their game. Meta NINZA might just use AVIDA Esports as a meat shield, let them go ahead and then follow in their footsteps. Under the yellow pipe. Good enough. That's all the cover that they can get, and that's all they need so far. They see Aztec, they're trying to nade him down, but Shanky gets caught in the crossfire and he's discovered by Long Kong. That's the end of Meta NINZA. They go out at 6.
Last 5 teams and Reckoning, they pounce upon AVIDA XKD. See, it's up to last player Tavan. He's spotted, they're chasing him. Pablo's down, the confirmation comes through. Tavan, for how long can he survive? He runs right into Revenant XSPARK and he's battling with them. Eventually, he's been put down to the last 4 teams. Revenant XSPARK and Revenant with the numbers.
Wow,
Reckoning
nice.
fighting for it. And Reckoning now finally charge upon Revenant. Black, he's been put down and Reckoning are charging one after another, putting
What?
the players down. And KD God is the last
Wow.
one surviving. And Reckoning, they ruined the game for both AVIDA as well as Revenant XSPARK. And now they are putting up their own booyah that they want to conclude as they started.
Jesus, Reckoning Esports are rolling over every single team. Forget losing players, they don't even get a knock. Not a single one of their players gets down on his knees. They don't need revives, they don't need heals. No reset required, and that's how Reckoning roll over 2 of their opponents. Revenant thought that they were good for the third party, but Reckoning don't even need to reset. Yep, you're right. Aztec just holding on to dear life, hiding inside that pipe. I wonder how much longer he can stay there. He can always just move along that pipe into the zone. But NG Pros, can they actually go undiscovered? Reckoning Esports have their fans full. Vota goes for the double elimination. Yakuza, one more taken down. Ronet Bros up unbroken. And that's the end of GB Esports. My lord, what did Reckoning Esports have for breakfast? Clear their opponents do not have the same firepower as them. And now Aztec is going to be happy with what he's accomplished. 9 placement points is all he can get. Maybe a finish just to put a cherry on top? Nope, not happening. Reckoning Esports, they roll over every team in the lobby, giving everybody free haircuts, decapitating them before they even require a medical reset.
This is why I was dicey between my pick of Revenant XSPARK and Reckoning. I knew both of them had capability. It even came down to a fight between them itself. Revenant XSPARK above Reckoning, who picked up a fight with AVIDA. And eventually it ended up being Reckoning who proved better. The way they concluded the whole fight, they took times. And as you mentioned rightfully, they did not even get knocked, not even one of their players. That's how smart, that's how efficient they played. Look at this final fight. This was the decision. They rushed immediately. Vota as well as Sohan instantly running forward. Ronit from right behind, powering up with nades one after another. GB Esports losing their players to the ground and eventually putting that last player down who made a jump using 24? The jump pad. Knew he couldn't run for far too long. How would that even work? They spotted him, shot him right through, and Aztec, the last man who dropped from the pipes, was spotted by all the players waiting, and you could see Ronit was already celebrating even before the booyah happened and sent his players to get this last elimination, grab it, get the booyah, start the day, and end the day in a grand manner in the BR Plains.
What a lovely performance from Reckoning Esports. 25 eliminations to their name. And you add to that the 12 points from the booyah, they are gonna sit pretty with a massive 37 bomb. It doesn't break the records of the highest points in a single game, but it's definitely gonna get them into the top 10.
Rightfully so, it had to. They had their intentions clear when they started the day off. They want to power through all the 6 games, and they did so. Yes, not all the games were in their favor. They did not get multiple booyahs on a stretch, but they started one and even ended the day with the same thing. And that gives them enough energy moving towards the BR main event, as they will also now be inching towards the BR playoff, BR finals. That's what they'll be looking forward to. But with Reckoning Esports finding this value, we are also now trying to understand, right? We spoke about GOAT Esports, we spoke about Bangladesh Top 1. Did they make it through? We already spoke about FANGS. They did not find a lot today. GB Esports as well were at the brink at that edge of elimination, but the overall standings will tell us, because GB Esports as well, back-to-back A-grad points here as well. You can see at a total of 12, but sitting at 37 total points. Reckoning here pick up big number of points in their favor. They could have pushed up to 39. It was a possibility.
Yeah, could have been 39, but look at the massive difference, the disparity between Reckoning and NG Pros. On one hand, you have 25 eliminations, and on the other hand, you have single-digit 9 eliminations, more than double the amount of the second team. NG Pros, yeah, sure, they were down to just one last player, so Aztec did what he could do, hide in the corner, get his team as many placement points as possible. That should be enough to get them sustained in the top 10. AVIDA, of course, have no regrets going out in the third spot. 14 points is more than enough. They might not be able to overtake GOW with this, even though GOW had like a 0-pointer crash out. I think GOW should still end the day on top. But then there are teams which you actually need to talk about. Teams like GB Esports, GODLIKE, NINZA, all of them are vying to get inside that top 10. They've just gotten similar points, 12, 11, 10, something like that. But is that going to be enough? Is that actually going to get them into the top 10? We will have to wait till the overall standings show up so that we find out. But for now, let us celebrate the MVP, Sohan, with that M590. Mwah! Chef's kiss to this guy, because he's getting back-to-back double eliminations on the trot. Whether it's against AVIDA, whether it's against REVENANT XSPARK, this guy and his shotgun was able to deliver 2 quick back-to-back knocks on both those teams, and that's how Reckoning Esports are able to just roll over their opponents without even needing a reset, without even losing a player, or even getting one knocked.
I think we've known this player, we've met him as well, and you could see the confidence that he has, right, when he's picking up points, when he's picking up fights, and it's worked for him. And here as well at the last game, you could see once they got this booyah, he was so happy, shouting at his camera as well, let's go. That tells that this team finally is in momentum. Along with Sohan, you have to give credits to Vota, NINZA, as well as Ronit. And I think Ronit, again, like how we were talking about GODLIKE, how Yogi was picking up the helm of things and Reckoning on Ronit's end, he's been doing it. And it's been working out, along with him just nading every team, anybody that he was spotting with. And that gives credits with Alvaro and Beast on having it, making those nade damage even more effective. And he just made sure that his teammates, when they're rushing towards a fight, the players are already low on health, and instantly they put down with shotgun shells or any other weapon they have on hand.
Great performance from everybody on this team. I love how they are still one of the only teams using a double dash composition. They've got the Tatsuya as well as the Oscar, and I think they're one of the only teams who haven't adopted Nero just yet. They don't even have a single chrono, so that tells you how aggressively these guys were playing.
And this is something even we ended up seeing Neptune point out. Maybe they eventually jump with the Nero and figure out that it becomes even better for the team. But for now, I think Reckoning are playing their strongest cards. They have a total of 8 eliminations, even on Vota. When we spoke about the MVP, Sohan, he has 10. But look at Ronit, he also has 6 eliminations. And the main man with the major assist coming through has 8 assists. That is NINZA. And look at the damage. While NINZA has 2,371, everybody else going closer towards 4,000. Ronit at 3,152, 4,000 for Sohan as well as Vota both.
Amazing stuff from every single player. Even though they might not have the similar number of eliminations, they all contributed really well in terms of damage. This is one of those rare games where the sniper doesn't end up doing much damage because the rushers alone are more than enough to wipe out everybody else. Great stuff from Reckoning Esports to end this day. And I think with the 37 bomber, they should be somewhat in the top 10, right? I'm now starting to get concerned about the other teams who are just hovering between the 8 to the 12 spots. I'm talking about names like GB Esports, NINZA, GODLIKE. Are they going to make it? All of these teams have been performing really well. I mean, you saw how GB Esports dominated on the first day. It would be heartbreaking if they don't make it into the top 10, even after such a massive amount of points that they accumulated on day 1.
And a little bit of a similar storyline what happened to Reflex United, the way they started, the number of points they raked up yesterday, to pointing it out today. It was a similar performance from IQOO OGxTSG, but the last game they got eliminated a little too early, so they are also under that big question mark and the radar, whether they've qualified, whether they're in the top 10, are they going to be making it to the BR main event? So many questions here, Crips, that after all the 12 games that we have witnessed in a stretch of these last 3 days, 3 different groups, a total of 18 teams from the overall Asia Invitational that we are having right now, and only 10 will make it through, 8 will be eliminated. And again, out of these 8 teams which are going to be eliminated, they don't even make a part of the prize pool, and that's a bigger more concern. They tried their best and they missed out on a chunk of that prize pool.
Yeah, I mean, more than prize pool, I think these teams needed to prove something, right? Because India has been missing from the international circuit for the last few years. This is the first international tournament for almost all of these Indian teams, and there's only so much progress you can make when you're fighting against teams from your own country. You need access to stronger opponents. You need access to other kind of lobbies. You need to be exposed to those playstyles if you actually want to improve. And now that these teams, both Bangladeshi and Nepali and Indian teams, now that they're fighting against all these Southeast Asian teams, they can see the massive skill gap between them, right? And all the SEA teams, they end up fighting each other quite often. Teams from Thailand, teams from Indonesia, Vietnam, they end up fighting each other quite often. That's why you've got teams from these 3 nations, all of them doing well. AVIDA, you've got GOW, you've got, if I'm not wrong, one more team over there, Kagendra. All 3 of these teams from 3 different countries, while they fight each other, that's a much higher lobby, you know, that's a much tougher lobby. That's why even when they are in a completely different region, they end up dominating nonetheless, because they fight stronger opponents more frequently. And if these Indian teams want to improve, they need to get into the BR finals as well, so that they can fight even tougher teams. That's how you improve. Prize pool, sure, that's an added bonus for most of these people.
Now, while they're fighting for this and they've understood the lobby to an extent, this is what I was talking about, right? When we started day 1, we had a lot of questions when every team from every region started fighting for, have they done enough work? Now, when we come to day 3, I feel like everybody has done enough work, but is the points enough towards the top 10? Have they made every point count? Was the placement point or elimination both ready for them? Did they conclude to make it to the top 10? Who missed out? Which region is going to have the best of the teams going forward? As we look at our overall standings in the top 10, end at Meta NINZA and IQOO OGxTSG, they lag behind from 21 points. This is what I was worried about, and both them and Headhunters make the miss, while Meta NINZA, Revenant XSPARK, GB Esports, Nightmare Esports, NG Pros, Kagendra, Reckoning Esports, GODLIKE, AVIDA, XKDC and GOW at the top of the charts qualify into the BR main event.
Massive congratulations to every single team that made it across. They need to pat themselves on the back, because this has been no small feat. You will see these 10 teams once again next week, starting Thursday in the BR Grand Finals. As for teams like IQOO OGxTSG, Headhunters, Rising Gods, Reflex United, GOAT Redcliffe, Bangladesh Top 1 and FANGS, unfortunately for these teams, their journey will come to an end over here. We would still like to thank them for participating in this lovely tournament, because without their contribution, this wouldn't have been as entertaining. I do feel bad for IQOO OGxTSG, because they really did step up in this day. You know, they had quite a good amount of performances, some decent games today, but because they were rather inconsistent on day 1, they cannot make it. Same goes for Headhunters. They gathered as many points as they could yesterday, but since they're not playing today, they were powerless to do anything about it. Rising Gods, they had some nice squad wipes, managed to get 112 points, but that is simply not enough, because the cutoff is 152. That being said, though, it is a rather dark day for every Bangladeshi Free Fire Max fan, because none of the Bangladeshi teams managed to make it to the finals. However, it's not the end. There is one seeded Bangladeshi team that you will see next week as well. But for now, ladies and gentlemen,
It is time. we will see the next set of 18 teams who are going to be jumping in. That is the Battle Royale main event, along with the teams who managed to qualify from our BR play-ins. Joining the stretch of 10 teams is going to be Bigatron by Vitality. Along with them, we are going to be seeing DRS joining in. This is what we wanted to see. Total Gaming, our Indian team, joining the play. And along with them, PE Sports. A lot of these teams with the big names, Red Hawks, SA2L, Falcons, as well as Makna Esports from Malaysia. These 8 teams joined the Battle Royale main event.
And they have already proven their mettle on the bigger stages. Now these 8 teams will face the 10 teams from the play-ins who have already been warming up over the course of this week. Teams like GOW and AVIDA proved why SEA is a region that needs to be feared and respected. That being said, though, GODLIKE did breach the 200-point mark, so they also have earned our respect. Kagendra, Reckoning Esports, as well as NG Pros prove that they are some of the most aggressive teams in the lobby, and they need to be very respected if you are going up against them. You cannot afford to take them lightly. Every other team that got a chance to play in this week in the play-ins already have a taste of what it's like to face the highest of the highest level of competition, and they will be joined by even tougher teams next week. Ladies and gentlemen, we are just getting started. If you were enjoying the matches so far, I can guarantee and tell you next week is gonna be a banger. In fact, I would encourage you to go ahead and raid all your nearby stores and buy all the popcorn and snacks you need, because you're gonna run out of them next week. We have 4 days of intense Free Fire Max actions. Not just 3, it's not just Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but we will also be starting one day earlier. We're gonna be starting on Thursday.
That is because we are going to have our Battle Royale finals on that given weekend. That is the next weekend on 14th. You're going to be also seeing one champion rise up with the fire that they have. The Free Fire Max Asia Invitational will also get their first champion that we are going to be ending up seeing in the next weekend. Now I am even more excited, Crips, to be honest, right? When we already witnessed the matches while they were breaking barriers, fueling their fire, moving towards exceptional performances here on our week win performance that we witnessed from everybody in our BR play-ins, but BR main event is where the deed is where again another problem strikes. Is one, yes, 18 teams, they play in a group format, but after that we put out 6 teams making it to our BR finals, with only 12 teams making their way towards the championship, Crips.
Exactly, and that's going to be so much tougher for these teams to adjust to, because the first 3 days your only objective is to stay out of the bottom 33%. You have to stay out of the bottom 6. But on the final day, the entire vibe of the lobby will change, because we will have the champion rush format as well. You're going to have 3 days where you have 6 matches each, but on the last day, it's going to be a marathon, a 10-game affair with a champion rush condition also being thrown into the mix. How will these teams adapt? Who will be crowned the champion of Asia? Find out next week when we start on Thursday. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel so that you do not miss when we go live. And of course, stock up on all your snacks, because it's going to be a banger of a weekend, ladies and gentlemen. That is it from our side for now. But we will meet you once again in the grand finals of Free Fire Max Asia Invitational. Till then, see you and have a great time.